Hello and welcome back to the Pop Tab Podcast, the podcast that's as sweet as soda for breakfast. I am one of your hosts, Brent Kruscke, the upholder of the unpopular opinion, and joining me today, as always, is the ghost host, Jacob Stokes.
Hello.
Today, as always, Pop Tab Podcast is filmed in front of a live Twitch audience. If you want to be part of that audience, head on over to twitch.tv/realpixel, or you can catch the VOD later on YouTube, or if you're just like, I don't want to see those faces, I just want to hear those beautiful voices, you can head over to patreon.com/realpixel and get audio versions of the show. I realized that my audio is actually right behind the camera, and I can't tell where our levels are. We're actually really low right now, so that's not good.
No.
No?
No.
Are you?
No. No. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think we're pretty low. Let me go
No,
fix that.
I was just saying I didn't see myself on the mic at all, but
Oh, okay.
I think it's good. I think it's fun. I think it turns up a bit. Although I will say, watched a few gameplay streams.
Yep.
If I have you all the way up, you come in at like soft medium. Like if I have Twitch all the way up, click any other channel and it's like we're back to the 75% area for volume. So I think just naturally whatever you're at, low.
Overall low?
Yeah. But it's only on gameplay stuff. Obviously I don't watch this, so it's hard to tell. But
I think I over fear the peaking. And I think I need to play more in the peaking realm. Because in my head I go, I see red, that's peaking, the audio's gonna be messed up. But in actuality, it sounds
that's where
fine.
-5 is.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
we're
the
aiming
thing.
for what? Was it 6?
-6 is
-6
usually
is like in the red.
in the red. So I think that's what.
So you might want to turn us up anyway.
I think I'm fearing it. That's my problem.
As for the actual levels, the meter that's in front of us, it says we're doing good. You're in the green. Look how green you are. This is safe. Did you adjust anything? Testing. I did. It didn't go. Maybe it went a little bit up. I barely touched the yellow on big letters. Big. That's better. Okay. Whatever it is, it's better. They'll show you where the highest I'm reaching in my voice is, that little yellow line.
Oh, okay.
So that's fine.
Man, do I really hate audio? I just hate it. It's just it doesn't work like I think it should. I don't have the mind for it. I think that's the biggest problem. Is in my head.
You can't have it all.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. But I'll try to get there.
That's why it's a collaborative thing, right?
Right, yeah.
That's why it's a team thing.
That's why you're supposed to have departments and different people.
Departments or, just collaboration, we'll call it.
So as we start every show, usually not with tech issues like we did today, we talk about what we watched, what we played, and all that stuff, and what's coming up for streams later on. Streams for this week, Thursday, Friday, I'm playing Deadly Premonition. I'm very excited to get back to the game. The game is just so wild and so crazy. It's great. It's like...
Is that the one Alec got you?
No.
You play with Alec?
No, that's Alone in the Dark.
No, not that one.
Oh.
No, there was one that just had a name that popped up, and I misread it, and I couldn't tell you what it was, and I was like, you said it was a demo, I thought.
Oh, no, that one's Black Pine or something?
Yes, because I thought it was Blackpink.
Yes.
And you're like, Blackpink, and I showed you it was the
group.
K-pop.
Yeah. No. I thought
that, okay.
This is a old game,
Dark
I think from
Premonition.
2010, that they put on the Switch, and they made a sequel to years later, which only got a sequel because it's like got a cult following by how like weird and bad the dialogue. It's like a really quirky, buggy game, but it's really fun, and I'm really liking it a lot. I played it for a while.
2 streams
fell
out
out.
of it?
I've got probably at least 2 more, I think, because I think it's about a 30-ish hour game. I think. I don't know. It's tough because I keep looking up games. I'm like, how long does it take to beat? Because I don't want to get into a 60, 70-hour game. That 30 hours is probably right around the
30.
30 is on the high end. I can get a few streams out of, but
What'd you beat Spider-Man in?
Spider-Man was, I think, it was hard because I threw in like a little bit of Spider-Man after one of the streams with the streamer, the other YouTubers. I threw it in before the Shay streams and stuff. I think it took me 4 streams. It ended up being 7 VODs, and each VOD's about 2 hours.
Okay.
So probably
That's just not even half of what you're
yeah.
saying is the right golden, because I'm like, I don't know, that's like a good spot for me.
That one is probably better. I think this one's more interesting because it's like every second they throw something at you, and I'm like, why is this in the game? Like, it's so, because the whole idea of the game was you were supposed to, is from a, I believe a Korean developer, maybe Japanese developer. Anyway, they came to a Midwest U.S. town and literally copied the layout and put it in this game. And you are a detective that shows up to a Midwest town A girl's been murdered. What's her name? Anna Graham. She's been murdered.
What's her name? Why the? Okay, yeah,
Because her name's Anna Graham.
Oh, I didn't even the way you said it, the way you introduced it, like James Bond. I didn't hear that.
Anna Graham is her name. So she's been murdered, and you got to go figure it out. But the detective you're playing as talks to this person, Zach, in his head.
Is it Mike, Officer Hunt?
Mike, what? Oh no. Okay. I was like, wait, what's that reference? I got you. No.
Officer Me Off, Jack.
No, but he does go. His name is oh God, it's Francis York Morgan, I think is his name. Just call me
York Morgan.
But what he goes, this is what happens. Every time he's like, "Hello, Special Agent Francis York Morgan." Just call me York. Everybody does, and you meet like every character. That's the line, and it's like over and over. And sometimes it'll be a little different, but it's almost the exact same. Just call me York. Everybody does.
Sounds like something like. I wish he would just get the job done, but he won't stop York Morgan it over there. You know what I mean? It sounds like a fucking.
But it's like. You start off in a dream, and there's these two little boys that are dressed as angels, and they talk to you, and you walk through a door. It's very like weird, but they wanted to design it where it didn't have combat. But the people higher up are like, well, if you want Western audiences play, you have to give it combat.
Yeah, I remember that. And you said it's people just fucking swinging crowbars or whatever.
It's really poor. You're supposed to like hold your breath and hide for things. But when they added in combat, they also gave you a revolver with infinite ammo. So I'm just going around, but it's like so slow and awkward to shoot, but it's a ton of fun. It's also you shoot a guy and you get an audio cue of them dying, and then you get little agent honor points. There's little points
you get honor for killing people.
They're infected with something or another, but sure. they get shot like and they die so slowly, and then their body disappears, but their collision's still on for about 4 seconds after the body's gone. So I'm like trying to get through a hallway, and I can't get through even though there's nothing there.
So you just gotta sit there and wait for the dissolution of a body.
A little buggy. And then it'll be like, cool, okay, I kind of get an idea of this game. It's a little quirky, whatever. And then you go to the gas station, and there's a girl there, Gina Rose. Just call her Rose. Everybody does. Kind of the same thing. But she's just straight up just sexual innuendos with getting you gas. And it's like, there's not like anything else, but it's just out of nowhere. She's like, yeah, usually people really like it when I thrust it in, but then they really like it when I thrust it. Yeah, it's just like, and I was like, I didn't know this was a thing, but I had to get gas in my car, so now I'm here, and this is what I have to hit into.
This game is not for me.
It's crazy.
X-nay.
But it's tons of fun.
So you're streaming
so those are my streams, Thursday, Friday. I'll probably take Saturday, Sunday off just because I want to work on some things around the house. Like I said, Christmas kind of threw up in the house, and I haven't had time to really clean. So I want to clean, get some stuff done, and then also maybe get a little headway on editing for the day job. Just because there's in the can now, and I've got technically like 2 episodes. One could be blah, blah, blah. There's a little bit to work on that I want to kind of get ahead of the schedule. A little bit. But it's been 2 weeks since we talked.
Yes, man.
2 weeks and looked at me. But we got a lot of things to talk about because we saw some stuff. I was very excited to talk about mine. It was sad we didn't do one, but it made sense not to do it on Christmas Eve. But I wanted to talk about my movie because it's amazing.
You left Christmas Eve, right? Like you traveled down.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I know we could have done it. I was actually here on the time we would have been recording anyway. But I was doing all the cleaning and just kind of getting ready for the next week, the new year.
Oh my God.
So you're trying to go Letterboxd.
I'm trying to see. I don't think I saw anything extra just because on Christmas.
Well, I mean, mine are pretty quick.
I guess on Christmas I rewatched like what?
Get there. Rankin Bass.
Home Alone, like just the Christmas movies that were on, but I didn't watch them. They were on. You know what I mean? So I didn't count those. So I watched a lot of Christmas movies. The Holiday, Love Actually.
Do you like the new Fright Night?
Yeah.
Okay, me too. You know, it's just there's someone I follow that's a horror person. I don't want to say reviewer or whatever, but does YouTube things related to horror. Mm-hmm. And lately, her opinions with almost everything I watch is like we're the opposite. She just apparently watched it recently and gave it 2 stars out of 5 and said, "Is this Twilight for boys?" And I was like, man, I don't know about that.
That's crazy. I thought that movie was really good.
Yeah, she gives some. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, so maybe. And there's plenty of movies we agree on. Like she really loves The Wicker Man, like is one of her top 4.
The remake.
Here. Shut up. She did give Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire 4.5 stars.
So it sounds like she's just very like pretentious.
I wouldn't say so. She
Okay.
actually really disliked Nosferatu, which would be like, I'd say, a pretentious horror movie, like recently at least.
To be fair, unless
She
she
gave
goes
3.5 stars and a heart to carry on. And she doesn't do hearts like we do hearts, or at least the way I do, of just like, I'll rewatch it. It's like a rarer thing. She did that for Carry On. That's a fun one.
That is fun. But I could see somebody being like, well,
She gave 4
Nosferatu
stars
is
to
great.
Gladiator 2,
All right.
which is opposite of me.
That is true.
So
Well, you're wrong about that one, so that
that's
makes
fair.
sense.
she gave 3 stars to Mr. Crockett and Monster Summer. I know you dug on those.
Did like Monster Summer a lot. Mr. Crockett was really
But
fun.
she, giving a star rating is always a tough thing because,
It's out of 5 too, isn't it?
like, it's out of 5. Yeah,
I hate
just
5-star
normal 5
ratings.
stars. I don't know. I'd say it's pretty generic.
Because anything between like a 3 and a 4, like 3, 4, 3.5, 4 point, like that whole range, I'm like, they're so close.
It's only because people are cowards and don't want to give anything a 2 because they view a 2 as like a failure.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, you got to have a 2 to make a 3 make any sense.
There's just so many.
Three is the middle of
Yeah.
the road, So I was very proud when I was doing star ratings. My curve was very like, evenly distributed, where there was more 3s than 3 5s and 2 5s. But
Gotcha.
I was happy to give a movie 1 star. Like I'd be like, sure, this movie really was bad, or not for me, or whatever. But anyway, my movies.
Your movies.
What day did we do last? Would have been the 16th? No, the 17th.
Yep.
It was the week before Christmas Eve. Well, I guess I don't know if I finished it that morning or that evening, but on the 17th, I did Mobile Suit Gundam: War in the Pocket.
You did finish that. We talked about it.
We did talk about it.
Yep.
That was the one you got for me.
Yep.
Wow. Then the next movie I watched was on Christmas.
Well, look at that.
That was great. As I watched Nosferatu.
All right. What'd you think of it?
It got my heart. So that's something to say. It's interesting because the people I watched it with, I don't think there's a world they like it. Period.
Okay.
Before we go into it, I'm giving them outs. It's Christmas, and I'm like, you guys don't have to go to this because it wasn't an IMAX in our theater for whatever reason, despite having the big filmed in IMAX poster.
Is it because Mufasa's taking up all the IMAX spots? Because my movie wasn't in IMAX
Mufasa
either.
did take all the IMAX spots. Fuck that movie. I will never see it ever. I'm boycotting it.
I've heard the songs are
Because
good, but
I don't care.
it doesn't matter.
Because I wanted to go see Craven the week it came out. Within the 7 days of its release, I should
Right.
say. And I couldn't see it in IMAX. They only had 1 showtime.
Yep.
And I'm like, how's this movie have 1 showing? Like, it should have at least another theater. I got something in my eye. There's another movie I feel like. Wasn't Lord of the Rings in IMAX?
Lord of the Rings was, but also only
but it was
one.
only for
I think one showtime.
it came out the same day as Craven.
Yep.
So they each had their 1 spot, but Mufasa just ripping through. Anyway,
It might be making the money. I don't think so, based on box office numbers, but maybe for the theater here, it's making the money based on the other movie. You know what I'm saying?
Mufasa?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's also probably the licensing things. Like, what was the movie? Was it Dune? That was supposed to come out in November, Dune 2, and then the Marvels came out the same time. And the Marvels was just not going to have an IMAX release because Dune 2 had like the licensing for all of it.
Right.
So they just weren't going to release it
Maybe.
anywhere. But this one had the posters, it had the everything. But I checked, not even as far as Grand Rapids. I think it was like 150 miles was the radius you could check. No IMAX. And I went to IMAX's website to find
Oh,
it.
wow.
I was ready to abandon my family and drive to go see it in IMAX because I was like, this, I think will be worth it just for the one time.
I was going to say, you can only have one IMAX within a certain number of miles of each other.
Maybe, but I thought Grand Rapids would have had it showing, and
Right.
they didn't. So if they don't, I'm not going to Detroit for the movie. Like,
Right.
Grand Rapids was like, I can swing by Galactic or something,
Yeah.
and the roads were nice and everything, so I would have done it. But the people, I went with my mom, stepdad, Derek, Lauren, Shay.
Got it.
Shay liked The Witch. I don't remember how she feels about The Lighthouse. She says, I don't think she remembers watching it. And then The Northman is the other movie he did, and she didn't like The Northman. I liked all 3 of his movies, so I was like, well, this is kind of a natural fourth. It's going to be slow-paced, not super exciting, drenched in history and super well-researched, well-shot and well-acted, but otherwise a boring movie.
Right.
Like The Northman at least has some action scenes in there to break it up, but The Lighthouse and The Witch do not. But The Witch is all Old English, and he's very structured in that way. So I'm surprised that this movie got greenlit and advertised the way it did, but it was exactly what I thought it would be. It was things that I'm like, I've not like simple things about vampires that are, they bite you in the neck. Well, in this one, they bite close to the heart. And it was like, well, because that's actually, as Robert Eggers says, when people were writing stories about vampires, the people who thought they were real, that was apparently where they were thinking they would get bit. And that's where, so he's like trying to go off of the most,
But like,
the vampire bite on the neck is all cinema, is what he said. And it was like, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But
like in your head, how do you bite a chest? It's flat, like, how do you bite
you
it?
got big fangy teeth.
Right, but even then it's like, it's flat. With a throat, you have the jugular, so it makes sense to bite there.
Sure.
The chest, I'm like, I don't even know how that works.
Well, one of the other major things that's a very strong visual difference that I heard talked about before the movie came out, so I heard it on podcasts and things, is that Count Orlok has a big burly mustache.
Oh.
And that, he because Nosferatu and this movie are based on Dracula. Like they're the same beats, the same whatever.
So much so, the first Nosferatu was supposed to be destroyed.
Yes.
Was supposed to be gone. Supposed to not exist.
Thanks, piracy.
Yeah, right?
Literal theft.
Yeah.
But like in Bram Stoker's Dracula, not the movie, the book, he's got a mustache because he's a Transylvanian nobleman, and that's apparently just try catching a Transylvanian without a mustache.
I guess if you look at pictures of like Vlad the Impaler or whatever, I picture
that's actually what he said. He's like, just picture Vlad the Impaler. Do you picture him without a mustache? Do you picture him like Bela Lugosi? Like, no, you don't. But yeah, so he's like, and then he's got as he said, the sleeves that hang to the floor because it's like the jacket that goes over your shoulders and the sleeves hang low. And so it was different, but I knew it was going to be different going in. So I can't imagine being like, ooh, vampire movie, especially when they don't show you Count Orlok. And if you even just type in, Nosferatu, and you get the one that you would normally see, the Max Schreck one, it's just so different. The accent is so it's thick and it's very, I don't want to say iconic because I don't know if it's going to make it that far, but there's something that's like, it's never been done before in such a lengthy, exasperated kind of manner. But otherwise, I think the performances were great. I really liked it. I mean, I don't want to critique the story too much because it was just pretty one for one, beat for beat. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was just, I saw people listing it as their number one horror movie and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, because this one, horror for me has to be a little bit more fun than this, but every once in a while, you like catching the art piece, I've seen enough of the fun stuff. Like we had Craven and Lord of the Rings and whatever happened this month. Like that's fun and bombastic and whatever. This was like, I can take something lengthier. But I don't think anyone in my family was, they were like, Derek said something like, I almost fell asleep. Lauren was like, I almost fell asleep in the middle of that movie too. And I'm like, we both got up early. Like we all got up early for Christmas and stuff. So I don't know. I'm happy they saw it, but I don't think they'll want to. If I said, ooh, it's from the guy that did Nosferatu, that would be a detractor for them.
They're going to say no to the next one.
My mom liked The Northman though, so she was pretty hopeful.
I heard it. I mean, I know Nosferatu, horror from that director, and I heard it's horny, and I'm like, Stokes is going to like this movie.
It wasn't horny.
Really?
No. I've heard the same thing, that it was really horny. Nah, dude. I don't know.
You have to step back from your what's his face director that's like, no, I want to show sex on screen.
Oh, Brandon Cronenberg.
Yeah, you got to step back from him to a normal audience.
Yeah, I guess.
Take a step back from him. Is it a horny movie?
He put sex on screen, but not with people that you're happy to watch, if that makes sense. Alexander Skarsgård, I am. But because I'm thinking, I was talking about Possessor, how I watched it on the plane. That was a character doing his job, which is looking through people's webcams and looking at the products they own to send them marketing is the whole thing. And he gets on a webcam, and of course there's people fucking, but it's not in a very pleasing manner, angle, anything visually speaking. And it's just this old thick white dude,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess it's not like that.
Okay.
But Bram Stoker's Dracula, which of course has similar beats because of the same story thing. But
Right.
Much hornier movie.
Okay.
So I would say at least 4 times hornier.
From Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
Right. But that's the kind of thing where it's like, ooh, horny Dracula. I'm like, guys, come on. Like, what are we talking about? Dracula's always been horny, and this one's like less so than most. And he's ugly. He's literally a rotting corpse the whole movie.
Oh, okay.
Because again, in the lore, it wasn't, what did he say? Like a clean shaved, cute white boy, I think is what he called it or something like that. In what he's had 1,000 interviews.
Right.
But he's like, no, the people who believed it believed that they were like the living dead, that they were like walking corpses that had made a pact with the devil that needed to drink blood to live, which is like, oh, it's like eating brains to live. It's like a zombie sort of situation. And that's how he looks. And no one's down bad for him.
That's sad.
So I'm just like, because I also like thinking like, oh, she kind of wants Gary Oldman a little bit.
It's
you know
the
what I mean?
Phantom
Like,
of the
ooh,
Opera thing.
Is she? Isn't she? But he's bad.
Yeah.
This one's like, no, you don't want anyone ending up with him. No one wants to end up with him. It's just constant denial.
Oh, weird.
So I don't know. There's an opening scene that maybe you could visualize that way, but even it's like the characters that, she's denying, what's her name? Ellen is denying Count Orlok to be with her boy Thomas, the Jacob Hauken. Is that it? Like the Dracula equivalent? The one who gets trapped in the castle. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's her husband, right? She's not down bad for him either. Like, they love each other, but there's nothing horny about their love in any way.
So she's just a prude in this movie?
Well, maybe the director is.
Oh, okay.
He went for grounded realism, something, blah, blah, blah. Look, there's a plague around us. Life sucks.
Grounded realism with vampires.
Yeah, it's funny because actually when I talked to Nick Rogers after, and he was like, how was it? And I was with Derek. I was like, Derek, tell him, how was it?
Yeah.
And Derek, if you like movies where nothing happens, it's boring, it's whatever, lifeless. He's like, but it was shot really well. I'm like, yeah, he's pretty correct. Like this is mostly true. But he said, it reminds me of that movie where that girl has the baby brain and wants to fuck everybody. And I was like, what? Poor Things was what he was talking about.
Oh.
Because we watched Poor Things for homework, one of our Thai Tuesdays.
For what I was like, was Black Snake Moan? I was like, what are we talking about? Okay. I was like, what are we? Go on.
Dude, if Derek has seen Black Snake Moan, dude, that would have tripped me up so hard.
Why you got me chained? God. Okay. Poor Things. I don't know anything about Poor Things, so that's why I didn't jump to my mind, but okay.
Yeah, well, Poor Things is a movie that takes place in a non-existent world where, like, every time Willem Dafoe, who's all Frankensteined up, every time he eats, he has valves in his stomach where he's got to, like, shoot a bubble out. That's like a fucking thing that gets all of his gas out of his stomach and it flies away and pops. It's like fantasy. People are like riding jellyfish. Like it's crazy. And I was like, what? It reminded you of that? He's like, yeah, like the world and everything. And I was like, the movie, take the vampire out, based in reality. Mm-hmm. You're in a small German town during the plague and it looks like it. Everything's like a handmade town. Like it's all wooden. And it's from like historical texts and stuff. Again, take the vampire out.
Right.
But he's like, nah, they're the same. They feel the same. I'm like, dude, I don't know. That's crazy to me. You'll probably see it.
I will end up watching it.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm not recommending.
To be fair,
have you seen the other movies?
I have not seen it. I've watched half of The Witch, and then I stopped it. And I was like, I'll get back to it, and I never did.
You were like, this is not.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah. This one has more happening because it is Dracula.
I was excited for The Northman. I just never went to see it because I was like, oh.
I have it on the Plex that you don't have access to. That'll never work, which means I have it physical though, so you can buy it.
Okay, cool.
That was one I bought separate.
The Lighthouse was one I'm like, I think I will like this movie after I watch it. I don't know if I'll enjoy watching it. It's really, you know what I mean?
That one is he's only got 4 movies.
Yeah.
So it's hard to call one an outlier.
Right.
That one's an outlier because the other 3 are like, one of them is pretty small in its scope because it's his first movie ever, or at least his first theatrical release, A24 or whatever. But I really enjoy that movie, and it only got better the more I've seen it.
Okay.
The Lighthouse, I think that's the outlier. And then The Northman is like another 1-to-1. Here's the story, here's the movie. Mm-hmm. And we're not cutting shit because it's weird. We're making it visual because it's in the story, like it's going to exist. This one feels the same way. So there's like a sense of history to it. But The Lighthouse is like, I guess the history is just that these people existed,
Okay.
you know, and lighthouses were real, and you had to sit in this spot for whatever 3 months by just the two of you. And there's not really as much of a story to there. There's not beats in the same way. So
Gotcha.
I think it's an outlier. It's a really fun movie. I really enjoy it, but
I wanted to do that job for a long time, be a lighthouse keeper. I thought it would be really cool.
instead you became a lantern keeper.
And instead I became a lantern keeper. Instead, I make funny things on the internet.
Way different.
It's kind of in the same vein.
Different.
I just took a little turn.
If you're
little
looking,
veer.
if you're looking for the light from the storm,
Exactly.
come this way. You should watch The Northman.
Okay.
That's, I think, I don't. What do you think? If someone said, I want to read Stephen King, do you say just go chronologically, or do you say, well, here's the hits over the years, read some of the hits. If you don't like the hits, don't read the rest.
Yeah, I would probably pick one that I'm like, here is a really good book. You'll get his writing style, but on the weirdness factor, it doesn't go. A lot of his at the end go off a cliff, and if you're in for the ride, it's a great ride. But if you're not, then you're like, why did we even do this? I think a big example is like Dreamcatcher is like you're going through, and then all of a sudden it goes, woo, and you're like, whoa.
But like maybe like a
The Dark
Carrie
Half,
or Pet Sematary or something.
Carrie and Christine are two that are written in weird ways because they're like from people telling the story from the future, and then you hear about the story. So it's like the way it's written is a little weird, but like a more straightforward is like The Dark Half or Pet Cemetery or something like that.
The Shining's pretty.
The Shining,
as a book, it's pretty straightforward.
The Shining is one that's
the Shine.
The Shine is like you have to be able to buy that, but if you buy that and that the hotel's like haunted, it's like
but
there's
haunted
two buys.
hotel, that's a pretty basic.
So-
But anyway, the reason I say that is because I'm like, well, there's only 4 movies. It's way different than reading anyone's books or anything.
Especially because Stephen King has a billion.
I like recommending from the best,
Uh-huh.
and then if you like that, then maybe go chronological and kind of see a progression. But
Can't do that with Stephen King.
but
I can't be like, I recommend it. Start with it.
I know that one's tough because
that's not how you want to do it.
Movies are a little bit different, and where I think the best is non-cumulative off of other material. It may not even speak the visual language of a person or something.
And it's a 2-hour commitment, not
it's a 2-hour
40-hour
yes.
commitment.
And it's also, there's like a more fun aspect to it where it is just such a fucking beast that is like recommending a beast to somebody,
It's tough.
Yeah.
Now, if they've gone 5 or 6 books in, I go, oh my God, I love all this. And you go, okay, now you're ready.
Yeah. So for movies, I think it's a little different. But
Yeah.
I think, if you don't like the highs, how could you enjoy the lows?
Yeah.
So
That makes sense. It's like, if
so
someone's like,
I would say watch The Northman. People probably disagree that that's his best. A lot of people now, recency bias would, I'm sure, say it's Nosferatu.
yeah.
And you have a tie. You understand Nosferatu and Dracula, so maybe that would like just ease the. Like there was one person I read something that they're like, why did this character do this? And I was like, I guess that's a fair question. I just know they do.
Oh, okay.
So I was ready for them to do it, and they did it. Like I didn't have to, but having like untouched Dracula knowledge,
Yeah.
they were just like, wow, that was kind of weird, right? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
It's funny because I recently saw someone got a Nosferatu tattoo, and people were like ripping on him, like, how could you even get that? The movie's not out yet. Why would you get that tattoo? And people being like, what are you talking about?
The movie's been out for 100 years.
Yeah, this is not a new movie. And so it's just one of those things. And it was just like a vampire tattoo in the style of Nosferatu, like the old Nosferatu. It wasn't even like the new. It's just
Sure.
So yeah, there are those people that might just not know anything what it is, because even if you say Nosferatu, some people might not even know that's Dracula, really.
Well, it's another, like The Northman is about the Viking Amleth, which is the story. It's the pre of Hamlet, which is the pre of Lion King, right? So it's like there's connections to The Northman that you're like, I know this story.
Yeah,
It's 1-to-1, so it's. I don't know. That one's also a good like. Oh, the uncle betrays, and the kid's got to go be away for a while
and come back
do something different, and come back and like reclaim something. It's like the grim fairy tale version of even Hamlet. Like there's something a little bit darker about it, less victory or even less tragedy at the end. It's like, wow, this is all tragic.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good touchstone. So, but you're gonna watch Nosferatu regardless anyway.
Yeah,
so.
eventually I'll get to it.
Yeah. And then that night I watched Sleepaway Camp 3
Oh, okay. Very different vibes.
for 2 reasons. One, because of that meme that I think is hilarious. The Kurt Russell one sent me of just like, let's watch whatever the other movie is. Let's watch The Babadook. He's like, or we can watch Sleepaway Camp 3
again. It's not the first time. Again.
Yeah, so that's one reason. The second reason though is Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 just came out on Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
And I really love 2. 2 would be my repeat, having now seen 3. But I told Harrison at Static Tape Video, who posted the video or the photo of the movies being up, I said, save those for me. I'll be there next Friday. He's like, I ship. I said, don't worry, I'll be there next Friday. Don't take this away from me.
Is in this Friday coming up, or was this last Friday?
That was last week, so this Friday.
This Friday, cool.
Yeah, so just a few days from now. Thursday, I'm driving down, staying at Colin's family, hang out with him, play games.
Coming in.
And then Friday, we're driving back, but we're driving back at like 9 or 10 a.m. whenever we wake up. So I'm like, we got all the time in the world. Let's go to Muskegon, check out the movie store, take a little hour detour.
Yeah, just a little
or
hour.
more.
Yeah, who cares?
I don't care.
What else you got going on Friday?
I drove through Muskegon once to pick up Colin.
Right.
In an empty U-Haul.
that was when madness overtook you.
But anyway, he hasn't seen the store, so I want him to see it. But
gotcha.
So I watched it. So I was like, one, I've seen the movie, so I don't have to watch it on Blu-ray or pull out the, whatever. It's going to go on the Plex anyway. But it did not get my heart.
Oh no!
It was as I'll say goofy, where it's like everything was just silly and caricatures and boobs and death.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one at least had like some cohesion, and it was at a bigger camp. So and it had creativity behind all of its kills and plots and whatever. This was like just hodgepodge. Like you could tell they were just making it because they're like, okay, well, let's just make a third.
There might not have been a script. They just had a shot list almost.
Yeah, they're like, here are the caricatures of people, and we want to kill them. That's the thing is like, you hit this person in the head with a log, but it doesn't look like it was intended for that because there's no fun VFX. It was almost off camera, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. Where the second one is like, we are going to burn both of these twins alive. And it was like, yeah, this sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
So that was I don't want to say a disappointment, but I was high, so I had a good time.
Yeah.
But I saw it and I was like, I don't know if I need to see this one again. But the second one, I could watch over and over again. That's the kind of one that's for me. So I was happy about that. And then finally for family movie night, we watched The Conjuring. I was surprised because I told everyone that movie, I was like, it's not that bad. It's PG-13. It's whatever. And before we loaded it up, they're like, you fucking lied to us. It's rated R. And it is indeed rated R. And after watching it, I don't know why.
The Conjuring. Probably because there's like the people that are hanging, right? Like almost like a hanging or suicide notions.
Yeah,
it's probably that.
They pull up an empty noose. There's characters that are like, there's the feet that are hanging that twist and then start floating. There's only one scene of like a person hanged from a tree. And it's like when Vera Farmiga's walking around, she's like, I saw the thing hanging in the whatever.
Right, and it's like putting the pushing on her, and it's like, right? Like outside? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's behind, what's his face?
Yeah.
Patrick Wilson.
But it's, I don't know why it was R. So I was kind of like, oh, this will be more exciting. Watching the visual effects of it, watching stuff, I was like, this movie's fun. I really do like it.
It just says that it was rated R for, oh my God, it went away. I thought it was going to give me more information if I clicked it, but it did not. Sequences of disturbing violence and terror. So I'm wondering if the disturbing violence is just like a hanging, if hanging's like one step too far.
I guess. But it's like the dead person hanging there.
Right.
They don't move. You don't see them strung up, I don't know. It was just like, oh, this movie is as PG-13 as I remember. It's still good. It's not disparaging or something. But it was fun watching people who don't remember anything about it. No one remembered the clapping, for instance.
I've never looked into like why things are rating and then IMDb breaking down. Have you ever clicked into like the ratings?
Oh yeah.
I've never done that.
I used to have to try to convince my mom to let me watch certain movies because she was very strict on what I can watch and not watch based on sex alone. So
Gotcha.
it was me going to the ratings, finding the sex and things, and it says nudity. Okay, well, is it artistic nudity or is it just a sex scene? So I used to have to really break it down.
This one
but I never looked at violence.
Is a shot of a woman with slit wrists is shown is one of the top violence gore moments. Profanity, though. 4 uses of the term goddamn. That's it. It's got a mild profanity.
Well, so I listened for cursing as well.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was just listening for F
they said dog's death might be upsetting.
which you don't see. You just see a dead dog.
Yeah. Nothing.
Well-
It got a severe, frightening, and intense scenes, but things can be frightening and intense without it having to be rated R. So I don't know either. I thought maybe it would say something like, depictions of blank or whatever. Nothing. That's
So,
weird.
I don't know, but it was still a good movie.
Is the second one
It's
R?
funny because I would have guessed no, but I don't
All right. You got
care.
it. I'm looking in.
Well, I think this was like number 7 from our lowest
And what's
scares out of like
the-
16.
16. Okay.
So our next scariest is nature.
Nature.
I didn't know how best to describe it because I just thought, what are some of the scariest movies I've seen? Let me throw those in as like fears or
Yeah,
something. So they're less subgenres the higher they go and more like
Nature is the genre.
yes.
I thought you were saying nature is the
movie
movie, and
Nature?
I went, I don't know, movie nature.
Oh no, it's the
Okay.
genre.
Gotcha.
Which,
Gotcha.
Is that a genre? I don't know what you'd call it because you also think, what is that like Blair Witch because we're in the woods, or The Ritual because we're in the woods or something?
My mind went to The Ritual first.
Shay was like, let's watch The Ritual, and I was like, I love that movie, but I don't know. And she's like, well, it's got that deer antler god thing, and I was like, which is not really nature.
I mean,
It's in depending on how you read their truth of lore, it's a god.
but isn't it like an earth god, like an earth spirit?
Kind of. It's Loki.
Oh.
By name. That's what they name it. So I'm like, I guess it could be. It's a natural-esque movie, but for me, we need to watch Infested.
That's for nature?
Spiders. I didn't know what to call.
Okay.
What do you call? Because, like, again, I'm reverse engineering it.
Right.
I didn't write nature because a list said here's a top.
Right,
performer.
right.
And I didn't want to put aquatic for Jaws. I didn't want to. So I said, what are the scariest movies? So the number one thing that I think was, maybe it's 1 or 2, for scariest on our list is claustrophobia.
Descent?
Which is not a genre of horror.
Right.
But for me, I thought of, as I've told you when we watched Infested, the 2 scariest movies I can think of are The Descent and Infested now.
Yeah.
So I said The Descent, that's claustrophobia. I can't put cave movies.
Right.
I just was like, we're ramping. That's what I think is one of the
Because
scariest.
there's a lot of scary moments in The Descent with like the creatures and like all the it's so good. But the moment where they're crawling and the rock shifts and hits their helmet, oh my god, it's so good.
Shit gets me sweaty watching
Right?
it. But I also think movies I love, like As Above, So Below, the guy crawling through the bones,
Yeah.
or it's just like the feeling of, or I even like Grave Encounters. There's a feeling of claustrophobia when they open the door and they're still inside.
Yeah.
It's like the space around me is trapping me. It's not just Final Prayer
Right.
where it's like, "Ah," and I'm being digested.
That is
or
really bad one.
did you watch Nope?
No, I've not watched. Nope. My mind went to
I think you should watch Nope.
it's not claustrophobia because the rest of the movie, but it's just the one scene that made me love it, which was the Hell House when they're at the stairs and people are trying to get up, people are trying to get down,
Oh, dude, it's the same. Just like, well, I mean, that doubles yours because it's claustrophobia via crowds.
and it's people, and it's like, oh nope.
yeah, so I was like, that's not a genre, but we're gonna put it and see. And people bumped it to the top, and I think like Backcountry Rednecks or something I put as the other one of just like the Texas Chainsaw kind of feeling.
Yeah.
The Hills Have
Wrong
Eyes. or whatever.
Turn.
Oh wait, I did say nature, and I forget who it was, but somebody said The Hills Have Eyes, and I was like, I get where you're saying that. And Derek was like, that movie is not fucking natural. And I thought that was a really great line.
That is a
That
good
movie
one.
is not fucking. Put that on the box.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah.
Infested.
So that's why Infested. I'm like, what do you call this?
I guess it's like
there's a claustrophobia to
what
it
could
or
you
something, but
actually
I called it
find
nature,
it in nature
to be like the fear of this is spiders.
Almost-
And Derek's afraid of spiders.
it's almost IRL fear because it's like this isn't like there's killers and stuff that are real, but this is like legit like spiders are just everywhere. They could be scary at a moment's notice.
Yeah, well,
a shark.
And it's
thing.
also, besides I think there's one, maybe two in that movie, because the whole theme of this spider is it grows to fit its environment, right?
Yeah.
And they're underground, so they're small. But because this one's been out for so long, it gets bigger, and it does the fucking thing at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever, the size like a shoebox.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not quite the size of the spider enemy, which I just was scrolling through TikTok and saw the end scene come up again. I went, oh God, that's such a good scene. And then I scrolled away.
Yeah, not quite the size.
Not that
like
big.
Not a tenth of that size.
Yeah. But it's like in front of the car, right? I thought it was
it's in front of the
big.
car, but I'd say it's like its body, not its legs. Its body's like a cat.
Oh, I was going to say like a dog, but yeah.
It was,
Oh, okay.
I'd say like that. Outside of that, the rest are just little spiders.
Yeah.
Or big to like normal human size levels of big spiders. So
Not if you live in Australia, just normal.
Yeah.
Just, oh shit, there's a
Oh, an
spider in my
itty-bitty.
shoe. Let me grab it by the leg, and you're like fishing it out. Have you seen the yards in Australia where it's just covered in spider webs because something happens with the weather and all the spiders get like flung to a certain, and it's just the whole yard spider webs? How do people live there? I don't understand. I don't get it. Those are different people. It's insane.
There's something different
There
about
was
them for sure.
Steve Irwin's son recently did like a TikTok. He's like, how do you know if you live in Australia? And he look at his shoe rack and there's a snake like across his shoe rack and then falling off. It's like a 7-foot long snake. And then it like curls up into his boot. And he's like, well, I'm going to have to get that out of there. And I'm like, well, you burned the house down. What are you talking about?
Oh, man, you got to get out of my shoe, bro.
You're in Anaconda right now. You're in the movie. Get out of here. This is crazy. But anyway.
Yeah,
Nature infested. I could get that.
Yeah, so that's the plan. Derek was just like, yeah, I'm not going to be here next week. He just was like, I'm not watching that movie.
Well, he's got to, right?
I know. I was like, it's the point, dude.
That's the point.
It's the whole point. We're pushing boundaries.
Just say, oh, we're not going to watch it. When he gets there, just handcuff him to something and be like, put in the movie on.
Lock it in.
Let's do it.
He's a Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
I'm putting eye drops in. Here you go, Derek. Click, 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 click.
Oh, man. So that's exciting.
That is exciting.
Anything else you watched?
That's it.
Okay. So the first thing I watched right after the last podcast we did, I went and saw Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. This movie took me a second to get into because the animation is different than other animation. It's not like one you just go, oh, I know what a Pixar movie is going to look like. I know what an anime is going to look like.
Yeah.
It's unique and different. The backgrounds are a different animation style than the characters and stuff like that. So it's very weird. I think the biggest problem with this movie is it should not be named this to sell it. Now, I get War of the Rohirrim makes sense for like the story. The movie should be titled something that's like, hey, do you want to know why Helm's Deep's Helm's Deep? This is the movie to watch. It like explains what Helm's Deep is, why it's Helm's Deep. You get like all, and that's when I was like, oh my God, I love this movie. This is crazy. It's like so good. But I walked in not knowing it was going to have anything to do with that type of lore. I thought it was just going to be in Rohan, but like shit goes wrong in Rohan fast and they have to get out. And it's like the whole story takes place over like months. Like they're in Helm's Deep, shut down, trying to fend off for like months and months and months. It was really good. I really liked it.
I haven't heard anything bad about it.
I was so happy. I was like, the animation might be weird. I don't know. I haven't watched Rings of Power, but this is directly tied to Peter Jackson's stuff. Like they even advertise it with like live action stuff. And the actress
they did,
that plays Arwen. Wait. Eowyn, thank you, is like the narrator of the movie.
Oh, good.
Because it's like the Rohim and all this different stuff. And there's this whole thing about shield maidens, that there was like a thing where they had a class of women who would fight when all the men were gone at a certain point, and there's like only a few remaining, and it's
just like your commander, dude. Eowyn Shield Maiden.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so good. I was very happy with it. And I got to see it in IMAX, which was great because it was like one of those things where it's like the sound of the elephants and all that stuff. And yeah. There's a part where an elephant gets taken out by the thing in the lake that's outside of Moria.
Oh yeah, the Watcher in the water.
There's a whole scene with that and all that was
I only
all
know
cool
that because it's a commander. I'm like, those just got a name.
So a lot of great stuff. Really, really liked it. So if you like Lord of the Rings and you were like, I don't know, it's animated, definitely check it out. It isn't like just like a random one-off thing. It's very, very good. And a lot of the lore is really awesome. So I was very happy with that.
Nice.
And then I watched Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 because I was going to see Sonic 3. Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, great movies.
Yeah.
No complaints. The first one's very much like I'm a fish out of water. I don't know how to be in this world. Let's try to join into a family. And now Sonic belongs. Great, perfect. Then the second one's like, oh, Knuckles is here. There's a miscommunication. We get a little bit more with Robotnik and Sonic, and then the team gets together. You get Team Sonic together. Sonic 3 is like Man of Steel, Dragon Ball Z, madness fighting the whole time almost.
You should.
It's so awesome.
You should talk next time we see him. You should talk to Krim about it.
Okay.
Because Krim posted something. He's like, unironically, this is my movie of the year. He said, this is one of the best I've seen in a long time, and I fucking love this. He said, this is not, he put like, this is not a joke. You need to see this movie. And I'm like, damn,
it's
Krim.
so, I think, I'm gonna say that Sonic 3 is the best video game adaptation thing we've gotten. Now, I understand, it's taking a step back, The Last of Us show, a very good adaptation. However, we can be honest, The Last of Us game really laid the groundwork. Very easy to adapt.
Well, what I was just going to say is, like, as much as there is creativity in the adaptation, nothing felt different.
Right.
The
Bill stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
which is an episode, which is not nothing, but I'm also like, I felt it. I was like, we didn't need that. Like, I don't know. We could have kept going.
the adaptation is easy.
And that's great. That's great. Yeah. So it felt, I could see it. I
Sonic
can envision
3.
it. You tell me, adapt Sonic. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Which is why we probably get the first movie, which is very strange because that's not like a Sonic game. You can't be like, oh, Sonic 1 is this game.
Yeah.
Even Sonic 2 with Knuckles isn't really a game.
Yeah.
Sonic 3 is essentially Sonic Adventure 2 that came out on the GameCube and Dreamcast, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, it's essentially that. However, with what they built up, you can't follow that exactly because Sonic Adventure 2 has a bunch of characters in it. They only have Team Sonic and Shadow, essentially, Robotnik. But they pull in stuff from other games that you're like, well, guess you're probably not going to get a blank movie, but let's steal this shot from this. Like, there's this very specific shot from the Shadow the Hedgehog game where it's like Sonic standing up, but he's too weak and he falls down and it reveals Shadow behind you. Like, no, this isn't a Sonic game. This is a Shadow game. And there's a moment there where Shadow beats up everybody and Sonic does a stand fall. It's like almost shot for shot. I'm like, that's really cool because I don't think we're going to get a Shadow standalone movie. Of course, we got a Knuckles TV show, so maybe. But it was we do have a Knuckles TV. Yeah, it's on Paramount.
Okay.
But it was that. It was the little touches, little Easter eggs. You know, some things that everyone would get. Where it's like they have a race in the beginning of the movie, and he runs by a sign, and it spins as he finishes. It's like great, and then it shows the other two are waiting for him. They're like tapping their foot in like the idle animation. It's like so there's little things like that, and then the whole third act of that movie is the best anime fight I've seen from Hollywood, period, and probably on the big screen because I don't think I've seen many animes on the big screen. I think I saw Mugen Train for Demon Slayer, but even then, it's good. But this fight is like the epitome of anime fights, and it goes so hard and it's so good. Robotnik has a couple scenes in the movie where I'm like, this is to make the kids laugh. I get why it's here. I don't need this. When I rewatch this movie a million times, I'll probably skip through these parts because I don't need this. I don't need to see Jim Carrey make jokes with Jim Carrey back and forth about one being old and one being young.
I wouldn't mind it.
Exactly. It's for the people. I get it. I know why it's there.
It's for the people.
There's a moment where they do like a whole dance sequence with reflective suits trying to get, instead of going through a laser trap, they just get to dance through it because the suit reflects the lasers and there's like, it's all blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
awesome.
I get why it's here. Totally. But man, everything with the actual cuddly characters is so cool. And the mid-credit scene's awesome. The post-credits, it's all great. It is one of my top movies of the year. I still probably have to give it to Wicked being the best movie of the year, I think.
You think so?
I think so. Wicked's just really good. But I enjoyed Sonic 3 more because I didn't think I was going to give Sonic 3.
I would say Wicked. Wicked doesn't have the same one downside that Last of Us has, of just like, well, you just had to translate this to movie. Like, the movie's good. It didn't. I haven't seen the stage play. You have, but I can't. There wasn't anything there that I'm like, oh, this is movie only, you know, or oh, this is creative liberty in cinema and having digital recreations and stuff. It was like, I don't know. It didn't feel that big to me.
I think for me it was, I know this story. I've seen the stage play, what it was written to be. The movie might not be that or live up to that. And then I went to the movie and enjoyed it and actually understood the story better from the movie. So it like amplified it. So I was like, that's crazy that it could do that. That's pretty impressive. So that's why I give it a little edge. And also I think the emotional parts of that hit, and it hits, I think could hit anybody.
Yeah, I think there's
That's
something
a big
about
thing.
that movie that was the stage play of it didn't translate to me personally in the movie theater. Again, haven't seen the stage play.
Right.
But there's things that I'm like, her dancing with the hat would probably feel really good on a stage, but it just didn't translate. I was like, I know what you want me to feel, and I'm not feeling it right now. Like there's like a third person of it that I'm like, I can see the strings, and it's just not pulling me the way I want. But if I'm in theater, I mean, theater gets me every time. I love going to a theater in that way. So I feel like I'd really like it on the stage and the movie less, actually.
That's interesting because I definitely,
But haven't seen it, so
emotionally,
can't
I felt
get to.
more connected to the movie than I did the stage.
Yeah, it's you do get closer on people. Like there's no such thing as a close up in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
theater, right? So I understand that, but because it's the performance is the emotion, like in that particular scene, it's like the dance is the point. I don't know, it just didn't work for me, and it felt like a stage, and I was like, man, I feel like we're not doing some. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to bitch about Wicked because
Right, yeah.
it was a blast.
Sonic 3, though, getting back to
Yeah.
it, there's things in that movie I never thought I would get.
I
and
kind of
it's
wanted
crazy
to
I
talk about
got.
movie of the years though for us because
Okay.
because we're at the end of the
We're
year.
at the end of the year.
It's like we could technically go to a movie tonight
Yeah, maybe.
and watch something tonight. I don't plan on it, and if I do,
No.
I hope it's not the best of the year the day before it's the new year.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
But yeah, so that's why I was just like, I wanted to talk about Wicked just a little bit more.
Gotcha.
Like, that's your movie of the year?
Well, if we're going to talk about movies of the year, I'm going to talk more Sonic 3 and stuff. So bounce real quick.
Okay.
I also watched Red 1, which was a blast. It was fantastic.
Derek said it was paced really well.
It was just it was just like
which is I can't believe he that was his thing. He said it was paced. So
I think that what's great about it is they have to lore dump. They have to tell you how the world exists and what it exists.
yeah,
and
here's how
so-
you think it is. Here's how it really is. Garcia.
Yeah,
Get 'em, yeah.
like this whole thing, and it's like, oh, what supernatural things exist? Like they round up the other people because Santa gets kidnapped. Who could have done it? Let's get the headless horseman in here. Let's like do questionnaires on like other mythical creatures
That's
or
fun.
whatever.
Were there any fun cameos in those people?
There weren't, because the headless horseman was literally like, here's the headless horseman, and then they have a glass box that holds the pumpkin head. That's like, oh, we're gonna talk to him, and it has a voice, but I didn't recognize as a voice or anything.
I didn't know if they brought in the Tooth Fairy and it was someone you recognized. Or,
No,
which
I think it would have
I
been
don't know-
really funny.
I don't know why, but the person that came to mind when I was like, oh, this could play the Tooth Fairy was Grace Vanderwall, the one who was the young mandolin virgin in Megalopolis.
Oh,
She came to mind. I don't know why. I
I thought you were thinking of like maybe like, oh, do you want to go talk to the Tooth Fairy? And the Rock's like, nah, I've already been there because
yeah.
he was in the movie. I
Yeah.
was like, that would be funny. There wasn't anything like that, but they set up like Krampus and like I think got into more of Krampus
Krampus
lore than I
swamp.
expect. Yeah, and they had like to go to his world. I thought it was really well done, and I was like, man, I hope there's more of these. I don't know
Did you
what
view
you
it
do,
and say
but
like this was a Netflix movie that just made it onto the theater?
um,
Because everything I've seen about it just looks very Netflix. But I
I
whatever.
could see that. Only probably because I think of Red Notice, and I thought that movie was also awesome, but that is just a Netflix movie.
I wasn't translating in that way per se of it's The Rock and it's red and
Well,
whatever.
The Rock, Red, and then it's also like,
Chris
here's
Evans
the white
doing, like, those
comedic
movies.
like character that's with him. Like,
Yeah.
it fits very similarly.
The Rundown.
The Rundown. Where's a Rundown too? Goddamn. But anyway, I think it's got a little bit more than a Netflix movie, but probably not much.
But it got your heart.
Got my heart. I really enjoyed watching it. Will I watch it every Christmas or every holiday? Probably not.
I don't Christmas doesn't put movies in my mind.
No. Well,
Halloween, I'm like, let's throw something on. But I just don't feel that way for Christmas really about any movie.
oddly enough, leading into Christmas, I don't really get into those movies. It's like January,
Christmas
end of
Day.
January, February, when it's like still winter, and I'm like, God, I just want it to be spring. Let me remember why winter's fun. Let me put on a Christmas movie and be like, oh, it is. Christmas is nice
That might be weird. That's weird.
because by February I'm done
don't
with winter. Christmas needs to be at the end of winter. Like it needs to give me winter until Christmas. After get rid of winter, we're done. I don't want a January, February, March of snow because there's nothing. There's no reason for it. Snow's here for Christmas. That's it.
Continue.
I understand that's not how it works.
I'm not saying anything.
But
Yeah, you got it.
it's like
The soapbox is there, dog.
it's just that's
Yell
kind of
at
how
snow,
because
dude.
like
Yell
The
at snow.
Holiday I really like. Love Actually. I rewatched the little miniseries Dash and Lily, which is a great Christmas miniseries on Netflix. It's like a cute little love story at Christmas time in New York and yada yada. That's all cool.
Did you log it?
I didn't. Well, how do you?
Did you log those Christmas movies you just said?
No, because like I said, most of those were on, but I wasn't
Oh, yeah,
watching.
sure.
Dash and Lily I did watch. I always forget TV shows could be logged.
They're hit and miss. They
Let's
don't
see.
always do them. But was there anything else you had on there?
Those were the big ones. I don't think I had any other ones because I think I did cover like Carry On and Craven last time. So
Yeah.
nope, that's it. Dash and Lily. It's here. Wait,
Or the
nope,
search is up?
it's not. It's a different movie. Don't know what this is, but it's Dash and Lily. It's the same name. Definitely looks like a different story. This one
is
though,
from A&E.
this one though, oddly enough, I think it was directed by Kathy Bates. Yeah, directed by Kathy Bates from 1999.
Cool.
But that's
I've heard of her.
not. Maybe it's because it's an ampersand.
Maybe.
Not on here.
Sad.
Anyway, movies of the year, or did you play anything or talk about anything? Interested in anything?
Have you been playing Marvel Rivals?
No, I haven't got back on in a while.
No.
Yeah, nothing's been pulling me back. I like watch all the stuff and like people are figuring out characters and the craziness. I saw a thing recently that said that your frame rate
Your FPS changes it?
can change. I was like, that's
That's
a problem.
When people have been talking about I guess my friends, because they like being competitive in their games, even though I love them, but none of them are.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have hit platinum in anything they've ever played competitive.
Right.
And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We should be top 50% maybe is what
And
we're looking to be.
We should be striving and
Yes,
be
we
fine
should
with.
something. But
Gold is our realm.
yeah, well, gold is my realm of comfort, but they want to. They're like, let's keep. I'm going to get here. I'm going to get here. I don't know. It's never getting there. But they felt the same competitive push. You felt the same competitive push with Rivals. I was kind of like, let's try it. Let's do it. Because we're going to get people who might feel more serious about it. And I just didn't find that to be the case. People changing roles, people not having any sort of strategy. It was like the obvious, we have a Punisher and a Winter Soldier. They pick Mantis. I'm like, well, you could pick Rocket.
Rocket should be the pick.
And we could get a team up ability here and whatever. But besides that, it just never felt right. Like the game didn't feel competitive. It's a blast. I love playing this game. I still do dailies and quick play and whatever. Especially because just like League of Legends, you can do your daily challenges in bots. So I just load up bots and just rip a challenge through, and I have a blast doing it. But the third person of it actually, I think, ruins more than it helps. You can look at your skin, which is always nice, and as some TikTok skits I've seen have mentioned that this game is for the Gooners now.
Yeah.
Overwatch lost the Gooners because you can look at your characters you're playing, and I don't think it's a downside. I think it's totally fine, but peeking on the right side, functionally being better than peeking off the left side, or vice versa, actually.
Right.
Because your camera is over the right shoulder. So like to sneak out from the right side, your whole body has to be out, but you can just be blocked. This like Black Widow can like snipe behind a functional wall because her scope is past it.
Yeah.
There's shit like that I'm like, this is not conducive to competitive. Or I had a buddy who wanted to play Luna Snow, and he knew I played her a lot. So, hey, do you have any tips? Let's go into practice mode. And I was like, yeah, so if you change a setting where you have to, Luna Snow.
Yep.
Her ultimate she starts dancing, and she either has a heal mode or a damage mode. You can make it so that you when you click the ultimate again, it toggles it. But I have it set so pressing and holding makes it damage, and letting go makes it heals. So you can tap it really fast, and every press and let go, it switches. And if you just do that, you get both effects.
Oh.
So it's like if I alt and then just press a button over and over again as I'm still moving around, I get both effects. And my buddy's like, well, that's cool, but that can't be the way it was meant to be used. I'm like, well, no, they made it switch.
Right.
Why they don't want you to have both. But there I am doing both. It's unpatched a month later.
Yeah.
There was some, and then with Magic, I'm sure you've seen everything about Magic where it's like you can aim 10 feet to the right and hit the target, but if you're an inch to the left, you go
miss.
flying
Yep.
past. Hawkeye being banned in they had the championship this weekend, the nationals essentially. It was North America, Asia's region championships.
Crazy to do that during Christmas and New Year's, but okay.
Yeah.
It's the weekend, but still, like,
no.
travel.
Well, this is it wasn't in person.
Oh,
it was
okay.
the one where it's like if you and I were ranked silver, we could make a team of 6 and join.
Gotcha.
But this was like the end of it, right? So who knows if they'd started it the week
Oh
before.
yeah, the thing that's in. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, yeah.
So that was going, and dude, there were some crazy names, like names that were like, one of the teams I watched was called Kabusi, and the announcers were having to say it, each time, and I'm like, God. And the other one was like Camel Power, and I'm like, God, this all feels like sexual and slightly racist, and all this. I'm like, I don't know, man. But anyway, every game Hawkeye was banned because you can aim 6 feet to the right and still get a headshot, and people are like,
Right.
nah. People who can aim well, let alone a degree to the right. Yeah, so the game is broken in that capacity, but I've been having a blast.
Yeah.
Just playing casually. I did get everyone back into Overwatch though.
Oh.
I brought them back, and I had 5 people playing with me, but a 4-stack. One dropped as another guy joined, and he became the other 4th. But we were doing a lot of 4-play stuff. And,
Well, who'd you play against?
And
Though?
then
Because no one else is in that game.
yeah, it was just bots actually.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
No, a lot of people with gold guns. A lot of people who are clearly good.
The people that don't want to leave because they've
Yeah.
already put the time in.
Yes,
yeah, but
exactly.
It's probably gonna suck.
But I had a great time. Derek didn't have a good first couple games, but
Yeah.
he came around. But it was the point where Derek was like, what tank should I pick to just one trick in main? And I was like, why do you want to do that? Like, oh, you see a future in this game? I kept making jokes. He chose Reinhardt.
Okay.
I tried convincing him of Diva after he was not liking Reinhardt. But anyway, so I played a lot of Overwatch too. That was fun. I've been playing Marvel Snap though. That's the new one for me. I got back
So
into
weird.
it. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
That's weird.
It's just simple dailies. The decks are pretty simple to play. There's enough complexity and uniquity. Like if I were to take a mono red deck in Magic and play it every day, it would play the same every day.
Right.
This one is different because those 3 locations change how you play every time you play. So I've been liking it. It's free. I've only been doing it free to play. I haven't paid anything for it yet. I'm almost done with the battle pass, which their battle passes are really great because they're just by calendar month. This one leaks a few days, but otherwise. So I'm almost done with it. And if I get to the end, I'll probably buy it just
Gotcha.
to finish.
Very cool.
And then a lot of game of the year, a lot of movie of the year, end of year wrap up reviews are happening. In the Apple App Store, I should say, game of the year was AFK Journey,
Oh yeah.
which I had never played before, so I downloaded
Never touched.
it.
I know
Whatever.
of it, but
It's a blast.
oh, that's cool.
I'm having a blast with this game, and I again haven't paid $1. I can see where they would want me to later. Like they did here's the load of all of the shit so you can level up real fast, and I can feel the trickling of
Yeah.
it. But I joined a guild. The group chat they have that's built into it is always popping. People just giving me free shit all the time. I'm just like, dude, this guild is sweet. I've been putting in work trying to whittle down the challenges and stuff. It's fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I have now reached essentially end game of Throne and Liberty, a max level.
Yeah, level 50. Yeah,
And-
I heard you talking to Bethany about it.
Yeah.
About fast travel costs. and
Fast travel
stuff.
costs. Now it's like grind these things to make this gear, to get the gear, to then level up the gear, level up. Now I'm like nitty gritty trying to figure out where everything needs to be leveled up because my level is max.
Yeah.
So it's equipment, it's abilities, it's mastery of weapons, all that stuff. And I think the problem I'm running into now is I think a lot of it in this end game focuses specifically on guild stuff and a little bit of PvP.
Every fucking MMO wants that to be the case, dude. I
Don't know why.
I dislike it actually.
I don't know why.
Even I'm gonna beat this dead horse, dude. Destiny 2.
No, I'm just kidding.
Stop! It's
Just
dead.
like, it's dead, it's gone.
Stop it. But it's the it's the thing where it's like the only end game that exists is maybe really hard single player stuff or doing something single player that's not meant to be. But otherwise, get a group of 6 and do a raid. How do you get a group of 6? Well, here's a clan.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck.
My thing
I
is
just want to play the game with in your case, 3 other people. I
Yeah.
want to be a 4-stack
A
and just
4-stack is like
for
the
Destiny.
perfect-
I was really happy with 3. I didn't need any more, so I was
Right.
good with 3. But
for me, it's just like a 4-stack because we're at the point now. Because before it was like, hey, just grab people and I think gamers overall were at a younger age and probably predominantly male, still is, but there was less females in gaming. Is it not?
I mean, if we're going predominantly as in like 0.1% more, yes,
Okay.
technically, but I think it's 51-49.
Oh, perfect.
At least it was in 2017.
Oh, okay. So that's good.
I was shocked by that number. I was like, you're lying to me. It has to be 80-20. Like
It's
to be fair, that stat does include all games.
mobile games and stuff.
Mobile games.
That's
included.
it.
Mobile
That's a
games,
tough
I
one.
think, were the differing factor. I'm like, Candy Crush has got to be like one of those ones that's everywhere. But then they pulled out the stat by console, and Nintendo was actually flipped for the first time I'd seen it. It wasn't 80-20. It was like 55-45.
I could see that though.
winning.
Animal Crossing, those
It's
games.
a cozy game. Yeah. But anyway,
continue.
continue.
Now we're at the point where everyone's older. Usually, you got a lot of couples playing. Specifically, like that, it's just like couples, and you have 2 and 2. An even number makes most sense to me.
I know you
6
really.
is one step too far.
It's a third couple.
It's a third couple, which would be fine.
It's very real.
It's very real. The problem is 3 couples schedules all aligning to do a 6-hour thing.
Well,
you
it's
know what I mean?
that, but then it's also there's something different about the difficulty level of that versus like we're going to play the game, but there just needs to be 6 of us for it to exist and function and coordinate. It's not, oh, let's stand somewhere else and dodge at a different time. It's like, no, if you don't shoot that fucking arrow on the wall, that bubble's going to pop and wipe us, and someone's going to start screaming.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who starts screaming every time.
Yeah. We
So Destiny, agreed. But New World is the same thing. What's the end game is like doing those wars.
Yep.
Where it's like you have to sign up for faction wars and whatever. And it's nice that they give you 3 major factions and then you can put a guild in each faction so you can just join another guild. But it's still just like, why is everything 30v30 or I need to hop into a guild to do.
Yeah.
AFK is a little different because there's not really that same kind of objective.
Right.
But any MMO, so you're at Throne and Liberty and you're like being begged to join a guild and you'll be able to.
So many people. I get so many invites to guilds and things and all that stuff.
If I'm a game dev though, knowing that so many people do join guilds, that's not for you and I. I think you and I are actually single player gamers who are still trying to play single player with our 4 friends or whatever that we're like, we just
well,
let's
it's just
do it
like
offline.
a new expansion comes out. Cool. I want to run with the people that I like talking to, and I want to run through the story of the game and then get to the end. And cool, there's a dungeon that we can grind through to beat the boss. Maybe we can put it on level 2 and make it harder for ourselves. But it's just us 4. I was level 30 at the time, and everyone else was around 24,
End of
26.
story, you're saying?
This wasn't the end of the story.
This was just first dungeon
there was
encounter?
a co-op dungeon that unlocked when you reached level whatever.
Sure.
And I think it was level 20. So I think M was level 20. Alec was like 22.
You were waiting on them to hit that level. So,
Yes.
all right, let's do it.
So I was like, let's do it. We got level 20. Let's go in. We get to the end boss of the dungeon. There's no way 4 people at level 20 or even me at level 30 could do that boss. It was impossible. And I was like, I don't. Like, you design this as a co-op dungeon, and I can like party, like get people to join in on our run, but I'm like, I've got 4 players all at or above the level you told me I needed to be at to do this dungeon, and we get to the end and there's just nothing we can do.
Is it like 4 out of 12? Is that what it told you?
It doesn't even tell me a number. There could be, I don't know, there could be 30 people in this dungeon for all I don't know. But in my head, I hear co-op dungeon. It's at least a party of a reasonable number. Yeah.
Just a party.
And so I'm like, I don't understand why that's not a thing we can do. Now I'm max level, Alex max level, Bethany's really close, M's falling behind because she had to do different jobs and stuff, but still higher than she was. I want to try to go into that dungeon again and do it, but I'm like, cool. Well, after that level 20 dungeon, there's a level 30, level 30, level 40, level 40, and then 50s that have a bunch of stars. And I'm like, how do I do a 5-star 50 level dungeon at level 50 when I couldn't do the 20 at level 30? I understand it's now the gear score and all that, but at the same time, I'm like, what are we talking about?
It's the because Diablo used to go to 100.
Yeah.
Diablo is like when you start hitting different torments, the character, all your villains are level 120.
Yeah.
But you're so optimized that you're doing damage 20 above your level. It's like punching up. So
Right.
I imagine 50 is the same way there, but yeah, they're. What I was saying is, if I'm a developer, I'm making it so that a guild is required to do it because a guild is what keeps people not like us in a game.
Yeah.
When I think of James, I forget the mobile game he was saying he was playing, but it was that he had started a guild. He was a part of a guild. He was like something.
What up, Alchemist? Happy New Year. I'm sorry, I don't know how
New Year?
old that is, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It just popped.
Did it just pop up? Okay,
just
cool.
popped up.
I
Don't worry.
was into things and I wasn't looking, but thank you, Alchemist.
I was looking. So
Cool.
But that's the kind of thing where I would make a guild so that it's tying people that need that group feeling that are, I want to play with friends, but I don't have any, or I need to play with people, or I need to whatever, like trying to pair some people, make some Discord kittens, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I specifically play Throne and Liberty. I've designed the build to be the guy that just gets hit. Like I'm the tank.
Yeah.
So everyone else doesn't have to really worry about their builds to the nth degree. They can do whatever they want. I even have an ability that if someone starts getting weak, I like latch onto them and I take 40% of the damage they're going to take. And I've got the shout to get the aggro. I've got all the shields and stuff. You took seconds too long. No! 2 seconds too long. And we now lost a follower. Yeah.
It's over.
Shut down the channel again. All right, let me close this out. No. But yeah, it's a little frustrating because I really like running around this world. I like doing this stuff. But now that it's getting to the end game, it's so finicky with what we have to do. And I'm like, even the things that we have to do, there's essentially like contracts you can get. If you get the contracts, you get these coins that let you buy things that let you. There's like a bunch of steps, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Those contracts are like so easy for one person to do that it's not like we're all going to run around and do them together, but that's kind of what we have to do to now level up our gear. But it's like, I just want to go do the dungeon. Like, you literally put a dungeon here. Why isn't the dungeon designed for me to do with 3 other people, 4 other people, whatever?
It's interesting. I wish,
so weird.
I don't know if it's ever happened that I've complimented Borderlands 3.
Oh, shit.
But I'm about to do it.
Oh, shit. Mark it.
Borderlands 3 did something really interesting where for the first time, because you remember Borderlands 2 probably when you loaded. No, that was Diablo.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, here, let me
just
carry
walk
you.
around,
Let me power level you for 30 minutes. Well, Borderlands 2 is the same way. If I'm level 30 and you're level 20, you spawn into my world, you're getting schmeeked.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're getting destroyed. But in Borderlands 3, they created a system where you could just join anyone at any time.
You're level 2, but you're killing things as same way a level 30 would, but their enemies are level 30.
Yeah, so it was more so designed that like if your buddy who's level 50 wants to come play with you, they're not going to come in and one shot everything the way it would in Borderlands 2. So someone can play with an underleveled person and still have a fight. They will if I'm level 40 looking at a character, it'll say level 40. You're level 2, it'll say level 2. Our guns scale like the it like looks at me and makes an enemy to scale to me, but it's the same enemy that you've got scaled to you. So it's got 2 sets of stats that are like being affected by our stats. Same thing as if you're level 5. I don't know where it begins. I don't think it's level 2, but we'll say level 5 where you have a skill now, and I'm level 40 and you join me. It's going to warn you 1,000 times about having the story spoiled.
Yeah.
Then you join, and you're also a part of being able to play. You're probably still going to get wiped because at that point there's abilities, flying, grenades, optimization, whatever. You need something, but you could do it. It's crazy to me that games don't have that now. Like that was 2019, 18 maybe.
Or just the fact that like, hey, if say this dungeon's built to have 16 people in it, but if I come in with 4, level it to 4 people. How does it not just level to the people that are in the dungeon?
There's a couple of things I think like New World requires 3, I believe, and some things require like one person stand there, one person stand there, one. So you can't not have 3,
right?
But there can't be mechanics that require 12. Like,
right.
What do we do? And
the dungeon where we got to the final boss, there was nothing that required a number of people. Like you clear out a room, you open a thing, and you clear out a room, you open a thing. You're at the guys are hard,
sure,
but it's not a super long dungeon. And we get to the final boss, and there wasn't anything we needed to do with multiple people.
Yeah.
But we get to the boss, and everything we fought before, it was tough, but we could do it. We get to the boss, and I go, oh, this is the closest I got to. I got him to about 25% health left, but everyone else had been dead for about at least 20% of the health. I just did it on my own because I could tank so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't do another 25% because my abilities are, I'm out of this.
But it's that thing, you add one more player. So because it's only 3 in New World, which we remember because we're like, James, please, we need to do an expedition, please. Turns out you can just matchmake those now.
Oh, okay.
Which is really nice for someone who just wants to do dailies while the guys are off and it's 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, let me just quick, whatever. But that was the thing where it was Derek, Tim, and Nate were playing, and I hopped in the Discord, and they're like, oh, we're doing a dungeon. We're just getting rolled. We're getting absolutely fucked. We're whatever. And I watch them stream it, and they lose twice to a boss, and they just can't get through it. I'm like, oh, well, let me join. I'm a healer. I join. they don't lose a single drop of health and wipe them in like seconds.
Yeah.
It's like that fourth player, in your case, that fifth player,
The
that
one more.
sixth, and it was just like, man, I wish there was some scaling happening here.
A healer, well, M has decided to switch and do like a healing thing to have that also, but I've also built in my abilities to heal myself, or if I'm near somebody, it shields them and like things like that.
Right.
So I like doing that. I like going like, hey, we're running into this. Let's figure out how to do it.
When it's healer, DPS, tank, those healer and tank aren't the same thing for a reason.
Yeah.
So you need both.
Right. And I like figuring that out, or even M being like, hey, well, I'll do healing. I'm like, cool, let's level up. Let's get your mastery up, your abilities, so the healing works a little bit better. But this was like so far out of reach where I'm like,
I'm so
doesn't even
sad you
matter.
took to this game, man. I'm so sad.
It's so good.
It's I found it to be fine. I mean, it was overwhelming day one because there was so much for people like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't see the NPC I have to talk to. There are so
So
many
many
fucking people in this first town. And then I found myself at a farm killing chickens or whatever. And I was like, I don't know how many MMOs I've started at a farm killing chickens. And I just was like, looking in the mirror, like, do I want to do it again? Am I going to get a character to any certain level?
Yeah.
We're talking about Throne of Liberty.
Throne and Liberty, Alchemist.
But I just can't believe all of you got in there because it's just like you wouldn't have to have someone, oh, all right, I'll switch to healer. I'd have been there.
You would have been there.
I'd have been there.
You let me down. You embarrassed me.
Why'd it got to be this one,
Well, because it was free. That's the reason. It's free. I literally sat down to do New World because it got on console, and I went to download it for Bethany. I went $40,
$60,
$60.
Yeah.
Maybe it was on sale. I thought it was 40 when I clicked on it.
It's possible, but the game was $40 originally.
Okay.
This one, because it's now on console,
And it's
bundled
Aeternum.
the DLC. Aeternum is the free
Aeternum,
update.
yeah. Oh.
It's the Elysian Wilds that
Gotcha.
gave you mounts and shit like that. There's no getting it without it for console. It's
So now
like here's
it's
the only option, so
60.
60, which is a discount, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But their next game, the Lord of the Rings MMO, it better be free to play.
Give me Lord of the Rings MMO and it's free to play.
Well,
I'll switch over.
The people who are making New World are doing that.
I know.
It's already
But free to play. Because it's so hard.
Having paid $40 for New World, super worth it for the amount of fun I've had and play time I've gotten. But it's a different world now. It's a new world. No, I'm just saying.
It's a new world.
But it sucks because the game, like I said, it's gone free to play. Here's a battle pass. Here's all the shit you can't do without spending money. Here's all the cosmetics. I'm like, why did you're locking me out of a lot of stuff for having paid for this game.
Right.
But contrarily, $40 I got worth of it. So
Right.
I don't know.
But if it clicks over to free, I don't know if I'll get everyone to jump because we're
Probably
in.
not. And also, it sounds like the end game of this might even be more diverse, and it's the big bombastic visuals and stuff. New World, like we talked about, it's
Yeah.
pretty low fantasy compared. It's not as graphically intense. You can't turn into animals and change the animals, and you can't ride a turtle, and you can't. It's just you get a wolf.
Yeah. There's a really cool thing that I want to do where you say it's like a New World, there's like a war. In Throne and Liberty, one of the end things is essentially there's a siege. You either are people sieging a castle or defending a castle.
Right.
And when you're sieging the castle, you can go to a spot and become a giant like stone golem that people can like ride on. And, like you walk
That's cool.
to the castle. I'm like, this that looks and feels so cool. But why do I have to commit to a guild that I don't know anybody or ever going to talk to anybody in it to be able to do that? Why not just go, hey, here's the siege. Do you want to join? Like a matchmaking that I just go in and I fight for wherever.
That might be the case. You might have to choose a faction or something because that's the way New World does it. And I know Amazon Games publish Throne and Liberty. So if they're samey at all, you choose a faction. You might even need to make a guild maybe.
That might,
if it's possible.
I was thinking about it.
I don't think you have to for New World, but then you can just go to a town that is owned and operated by that faction and just join the war board is what they call it. And but I've literally never done it.
I
like the idea of having it be there's one at 9 p.m., one at 11 p.m., and one at we'll say 6 or 7 p.m. I forget. But there are 3 times that wars happen and you can join any of them, but that's scheduled. That's kind of
there's
cool.
a lot of scheduled stuff in Throne and Liberty. There's like multiple times a day where these in-world events happen. There are multiple times a day where these certain bosses spawn in certain areas, and they're either wartime or peace, which means if it's wartime and you go and there's other people there, they can kill you. It's PvP unlocked.
Cool.
Peace means no one can kill you. You can only fight the NPC or whatever, the bad guy.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're going to get
It was announced
boned.
this week that maybe last week, that New World is making a set of new servers again that are all PvP all the time only.
Oh, that's kind of cool for the people that like that.
If you join a faction, you can't kill your faction person.
Right.
But that means I can run around as a healer and heal a random guy in my faction. But then you're just killing everyone.
For the first time ever in MMO, I assisted in killing another player. I've never like done PvP in an MMO. I've only killed
people that start like attacking me. But then I'm like, oh, you messed up.
Well,
I'm a healer. I'm just going to keep healing myself and then switch and DPS and then heal myself and switch.
Well, this was, I was doing an event I thought was a peacetime, and it wasn't. And a guy like starts swinging in on me. And I went, oh my God, I just like tanked up real quick. And then someone else came and jumped on him. And so I just like threw some damage out as well. I helped him take it down. I was like,
Nice.
sweet.
We did it.
And I was like, I'm going to get out of here. I did not realize this was a PvP thing. I don't need to do this that bad. So... but yeah, it's a little awkward. We're getting to the point where everyone's like, so what do we do now, Brent? I go, I don't know what to do now.
It's an MMO.
We have to keep trying things to see what we like to do. And if there's nothing like we like to do, let's switch games. And we did get to the point where we were playing and everyone was doing their own thing. We were chilling. I'm like, I'm getting kind of like tired because it was just like so calming, the music and the world just running around doing challenges. And everyone's like, yeah. And I was like, let's just jump into Fortnite and just like have a few games that were like a little higher energy. And it was great because I got the All I Want for Christmas Is You emo, and I've just been spamming that.
You got the emo? You didn't go Mariah?
No, because I got
Master Chief?
Nope.
Alan Wake.
I forget what they call it. Snoop Claus? Snoop Dogg in like a Christmas outfit.
Christmas
yeah.
thing. Master Chief was in the shop as of yesterday for sure.
I have it on Xbox, and I'm like, do I really want to re-buy Master Chief?
Your accounts aren't linked?
Nope.
Oh.
And
okay. Well, it's too late for that. So.
Yeah. So I was like, so I think I might get it again. I did get the Warthog emote.
The only thing I picked up from the Fortnite shop recently was because I have Michael Myers. I picked up the Murder on the Dance Floor.
Nice.
Co-op, like duo emote.
Yeah.
That was, it felt right.
That's great. The other game I've been playing, I started doing Death Stranding.
Yep.
I am in chapter 3. I just had my first, I guess I'm deeper into chapter 3 now, but I had a first boss fight kind of thing. Troy Baker showed up and different things.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was just in the sequel.
No. Well,
as like this Joker looking character.
This guy, I think the character is probably the same. I don't know that yet because when he shows up, he has a mask on and they call him Higgs because of the Higgson particle. Is that what it is? Higgs something? The particle that's like the
God particle?
Yeah. They call him Higgs because
the Higgs boson.
Boson, that's it. He
why do I know that?
He calls himself Higgs because he's part of this people that are trying to like watch the world burn or something. I don't know exactly yet, but he essentially he sends out these tendrils into like the black goo of the Death Stranding and pulls this monster out and controls it, and you have to fight the monster by throwing grenades made from your blood at him and stuff. It was very cool, and it's like you're on top of buildings and jumping between buildings, throwing these grenades as the whole ground is being slowly rising as the creature's there. It's all the black goo. It was very cool, very fun. I like just walking through the hills and just having a song click on and it show who's the singer. This is where it's from. Property of blah 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 records, and I'm just like jamming out, like walking through, delivering whatever. Oh, tilting to the left, hold left trigger. All right, straighten up. Let's start walking again.
I saw that I could play that game for free on PlayStation because I have the Plus.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I can just hit play. Mm-hmm. Not gonna.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like it.
No. I will be doing it for Ghost of Tsushima though.
I think
now that I see that's back.
At the beginning, when I was like survival horror is a big thing, and I'm like sneaking around doing all this stuff. I've gotten to the point now where they're like, here are grenades. Here's how you use this. They call it the strand, which is like a rope made also from your blood that you can like choke people out with. So now it's like a stealth combat game,
which I fuck with.
Which you do fuck with, but I think to get to that point,
I'm not gonna do it.
And the rest of the game around it, I don't think would be for you. No. But it was. I get to an area and it's like the bad guys, the people that are like, I want to steal everything from the porters, the people that deliver stuff, are called mules. And I go in and it like, this thing goes on and goes, hey, you're in a mule area. They just got notified that you entered their zone. They're coming after you. And you scan and you see them like running through the hills or whatever and what they have and what you can take from them. And I go behind a rock and I drop all my stuff. I don't want to get hurt. And I start sneaking around as they're trying to look for me. And I start strangling them all out. And I was like, this right here, Stokes would love this. Everything else about the game, he would not like. But this moment right here, he would really dig.
Yeah.
And then I go and I pick up all my equipment. I go, cool, they're all dead. I'm going to walk 300 meters or whatever to my next zone.
I told you I like that like Galaga style bullet hell, it doesn't make sense to recommend Nier Automata to me.
Yes,
Because it's
exactly.
like, yeah, you play it for like, this much, but then there's the rest of the game.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
When you're going through menus and figuring out, okay, my boots are a little wore down, so I should probably make new boots so I can switch those boots out. My weight's just this much over, so what can I leave behind and put in my private locker and then access from here and there? Do I have to use the bathroom right now?
I did
should
play
probably
Outer
get a shower.
Wilds a little bit. That has gear breakdown. But if it hits 0, it doesn't like go away. And there are easy ways to just repair something.
So far,
That doesn't bother me as much. I still go, if it's so easy, if it's so whatever. I'm not playing on give me the story or whatever, the baby mode. But why is it even here?
Yeah.
It's just something for me to do, something to make this smaller game feel that little bit bigger because there's another task to manage. But, or Breath of the Wild, you can get the shield and get the sword that never break.
they just wear out of energy and then you got to flip them and stuff.
And I'm like, that's better for me. Like I could take that where it's like eventually there's something that just will never break. But what's the other one? The parkour.
Mirror's Edge. Dying Light.
Dying Light.
There it is.
Mirror's Edge, just funny. But Dying Light, dude, the way the weapons broke and that and stuff, it was like I have it's like storing an ult in a game that you don't want to use an ultimate kind of thing, where it's just like, no, you have to use it. You can't just hold this shit forever. But when do you want the best weapon in the game to break? Like I don't want it to happen, so I don't want to use it.
Right.
Where do I use it then?
The boots wearing down and the stuff wearing down in this, it's like if you have a spray to like fix your containers, you use the spray, you get a new one. Also, I either I'm really good at, or it makes it very easy to collect enough resources where you can make new things. My boots get down to like 60% health, and I go, I'll just switch it out to a fresh one, so I don't have to think about it for the next 4 missions. And I go, oh, I'll switch it out then. I always have an extra pair of boots on my backpack just in case something I don't see. Like there's like little things like that. It is one of those games where I'm like, I would never tell anyone to play this. I don't know. There are people that like it. I understand the people that don't like it, but it is something I just click on, and I kind of like I'm just able to zone out and just walk to the next area. I like that right now.
That's good.
It's fun. So those are really the only things I've been playing outside of the stream stuff. So
Fair.
I did see one recently. I got an ad for it because Shay and everybody we've been playing that content warning where you go in, you hunt monsters, you film, you get
She
out.
begged me to play that game. Did I tell you this?
Yes.
Yeah, and I bought it. It was like $5.
Yeah.
Whatever. I bought it and tried it, and we're playing, and she puts a fucking microphone up to my character's face and is like, "Sir, it's your first time in the dungeon, whatever." And I gave a role play kind of answer, and after that mission, I said, "What the fuck was that? Like, what are we? I'm just pretending this whole game." She's like, "Yeah, it makes the better content. It makes whatever." I was like, "I need to uninstall this so fast." Like, I said, "I'll do one more mission because I told you I'd play.
Yeah.
You're asking me to play a video game. I'll do it." But you have no fucking clue who I am.
Yeah.
If you're asking me to play this game, you're asking me to play D&D in another language. You know, I'm just like, stop.
I
I
think
hate this game.
That game is really fun until you have to do that stuff to get the views to keep going. Like in the beginning, you can just get enough views by like literally running the dungeon, seeing the monsters, and like, oh shit, run! Like,
But that's
playing the
it's
game.
also just the objective is so arbitrary.
Yes.
Period. From the rip. And we did well, but I'm like, it's because James had the camera. I didn't have to learn how to use the camera.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Shay got a microphone and had an interview thing, and I'm just like, I like seeing points. I like knowing how points happen. I like having an objective. I like, you know, if this was a Slenderman equivalent, it'd be like, you got to go get the notes,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I don't know. There's something that just didn't feel
So
right.
a game that got advertised is another 4-player game like that, kind of cartoony, not like so rough, scratchy.
Yeah.
But this is you're like news reporters going into a city during an alien invasion. You're just there to take pictures of what's happening, and you're trying to get the best picture.
Sick.
I'm like, that sounds cool. I want to try
having
that
a
out.
single picture that seems like, and they could like point out, oh, you got it's the Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap. Boop,
You
boop,
got
boop,
this
boop, boop,
character
boop.
doing this thing because you triggered this by walking here and doing that.
Yeah.
There's something fun about that.
I'll see what if it's
weird
another.
that it's competitive though. Like not weird. It actually makes sense.
I don't know if it is because it says you
It's like
play
we're
with
trying
4 of
to
your
get
friends. It was like an ad where it's like, hey, this is I was like, oh, I'll look into this
Sure.
whenever. But I was like, the idea of dropping into a city, taking pictures of aliens,
You
seemed
should
cool.
find it, list it, try it, mention it, something, because Shay loves aliens. One of her favorite games, period, is Destroy All Humans. Which
Classic.
I don't know why, but it is. So
We got a
she loves
sequel.
it.
It did some stuff.
What?
It did some stuff. It did good stuff
Oh,
when
yeah,
it was
no,
out.
it's a good
Yeah.
game. It's a good
I don't
game.
think we need.
It was remastered and everything, and
Yeah.
we own it on PlayStation.
I don't know
because
if we
of it,
need like a new one coming out. I don't know if it's a game that
Yeah.
needs another one.
so. I
But
don't know if she wants a new one.
Yeah.
But she loves that alien style, going into the city, whatever. That could be fun.
Yeah. So like I said, I just got the ad for it, so I saved it. So I want to look into it. But
Well, I don't have any like resolutions or anything around gaming. I thought about like, is there something we want to do different with games this year? Now that this is our first fresh year of not owning a store in 3-4 years.
Yep.
I guess if we're considering calendar years, 4 years.
Yeah. Also, if you count the time before we had the store, we didn't have the store, but there was so much work to do to get the store.
Yeah, and July is like middle of the year, so the 3 months leading up to it, it's kind of like the whole year. So it's been 4 years. We're about to hit our 5th year of like actually getting there, right? So I was like, well, there's so many things we could do. We could make resolutions about like, I want to play 20 board games this year or something. I don't know. I think I just want. I've been enjoying the looseness of games. I wish we did have a structured board game day.
That's fair.
That's a little separate. I think yours is still what it has been, which is more shorter games rather than
more shorter games than
Elden Ring.
Yep.
You know, for instance,
more shorter games, and also just getting to games that I'm like, I know I would like this. I just never took the time to play. My big one recently, I just was like, oh fuck, I keep forgetting that I need to go back. There's the Hellblade 2. I'm like, oh shit, it's literally been installed on my Xbox since it came out. I've yet to touch it. What am I doing? It's right there.
I think for me, I'm finding that I like horror movies. I've gotten into Gunpla. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I didn't tell you. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Getting into Gunpla. We've been doing house renovation stuff. Like we were painting cabinets. I'm going to Home Depot after this to grab some stuff for installing our cabinets today. And this is a good time to mention it because February is Avowed and Monster Hunter Wilds and Assassin's Creed Shadows.
And Magic on Chicago.
Oh, no, I'm just thinking games.
Yeah, but in my head, I'm like,
that's a thing.
Big plan for February.
Well, Shay and I were talking budget because, of course, Christmas, you don't follow a budget as much for Christmas as you'd like. At least I don't because I gift too much.
Yeah.
But we're talking about budget stuff, and she's like, well, we've got this thing in January. February is going to be interesting because we got Magic on Chicago. And I was like, as we're planning budget mentally, I think one of the games is coming to Game Pass, but I need to purchase 2 video games that month. Like, I'm not buying anything in January. Don't worry. We can lock in, is what I said.
Yeah.
We can lock. I can do ramen all January if you want, so we can save money and do whatever.
There's some games coming.
I was like, there are 3 games I'm playing, 2 games I'm buying for sure. I need to play Assassin's Creed Shadows as soon as I can, and Derek would kill me if I didn't get Wilds.
Right. And I'm excited for Wilds.
Yeah, which might be on Game Pass too. I don't know.
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome. But I'm also thinking Shadows I'm buying on PC because I need that Steam. I need to play it on the go. There's a lot to do in that game, I imagine. A lot of towers to climb.
Yes. No, they pulled back.
Ubisoft
It's only like a 18-hour game. Real easy, real quick.
Really? Yeah. I'm looking for 100.
Oh god.
At least that's what it took me to beat Odyssey.
That's so crazy.
It was 110. And that was my first playthrough. I did 3.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Woo. Anyway, but I was just realizing, like, there's been a lot of times recently where I look at the desktop that I have and I'm like playing at whatever 6:30 in the morning or 7, and I'm like, I could do dailies in these things, but I don't really want to play. What do I do? Like, I'll just look for a new game, and I'm just like, my mind goes, let's do a new game. Let's look for something different. Let's try this free thing. Let's install. I would say The Witcher because that's on my mind. I'm going to play it before 4-6 years from now.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, oh, let's play The Witcher, and I'm like, I don't have to do this. Like, I can just do something else. I think that's part of it. Like, as I'm looking at January, I'm like, I'll play socially with friends, but there isn't a game I want to play. I don't want to play a game until February, unless there's something I don't know is coming in January, I guess. But that's the thing that I think is my resolution of just play what I want, and then if it's not there, I don't have to play something else. Just do. There was
so I recently got a service. God, I wish I would remember the name now, but we got it because we could get Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which is a 2000 PC game that we were playing, but it's just got a bunch of old games on it that you can download, and they essentially just made it work on modern PCs.
Sure.
They've got new stuff too. You can buy new stuff from them, but I went through and they have like Witcher 1, 2, and 3. They have like all of them, and I looked at one. I was like, oh, one doesn't look as old as I thought Witcher 1 was going to look.
No, 2. I know only 2. I played 2. That one looked great.
But I was like, oh, I really thought like Witcher 1, 2, and 3, it was like a woof in quality. But Witcher, obviously in gameplay
I loaded up
and
Witcher
stuff,
3
probably.
on PlayStation. I was like, this doesn't look as visually astounding as I recall.
Yeah.
Because it's been enhanced, whatever. It's like a decade-old game
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like, it makes sense. I was expecting to be new Unreal Engine 5, and it's not,
But there's that's a service I might just go through and see like what other old games are on here that I'm like I didn't play or would be interesting to play, because in my head I've always wanted to go back and do some of the old Silent Hills, Resident Evils, like the old horror games that now that I love playing these horror games that sometimes don't even let you like do anything. You're just walking around. That's the whole game, is walk around and get scared. I love those games now.
Yeah.
I didn't play them as a kid because I was just like, oh, well, I want to do the fun, crazy. I want to do Jack and Dexter, all that stuff, Crash Bandicoot. Now I'm like, oh, I want to go back and do those old games. I don't care how
atmosphere matters to me.
I don't care how buggy it is. I don't care how little gameplay there is. Like, I just want to be in the worlds of these things. So I'm like, this service might have a lot of those that I don't even remember or think of. Because for Christmas, Alec got me, because we played Alone in the Dark, he got me the original PC of the original Alone in the Dark. He got it from like a secondhand store. So I have that, and I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. I could go back and play. I don't ever touch this. It'd be cool to go back and play this one, stuff like that. So I might do a little bit of that, but I also got so many games that I want to play and beat just to get the story. I want to get to Spider-Man 2, Deadly Premonitions, Death Stranding, Hellblade 2. Like the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily looking for a new hobby or something, but when I go, I need to relax, my mind goes, let's play a game or watch a movie or show or something. But if Shay, who's been really enjoying House Flipper 2, when she goes, let's go play House Flipper 2, let's play a game, I'm like, what? I don't know what I want to play. Like, I don't know what I want to do. So I just end up building shit on Moxfield, whatever.
Oh, that's fair. You're stoked to play so many games, Brent. I am very excited. And maybe because we weren't able to do things for so long that I had the backlog, where if you were if I played games for the past however long, I might not have that many. I might go, I don't know what to play. Everything's done, or I've done it, or I'm bored with all the things that I've touched. But now getting back into it, I'm like, let me touch this, let me touch this, let me touch that, blah, blah, blah. I'm always stuck on the same old games, says Alchemist. That's fair. I mean,
I was just telling Derek 2 days ago, I was like, man, I just want to download Destiny again. Like, I just want to so bad. And he did the same thing. He's like, dude, it's so good. We could do it. We could, we've got story to catch up on now. There's like a backlog of shit we could be doing. There's a lot of missions. And I was like, I just can't, dude. I can't do it.
If Destiny, I didn't have to buy anything, I would be more apt to jump to it. That's the only thing.
They do have a confusing way of buying stuff. Well, actually, from what I saw on Steam, it was part of some sale they had. I think they called it the Light and Darkness Saga. You can just buy the saga. So it's still buying something, but here's $40.
And I have everything.
And it puts, I checked, it put everything in there.
Okay.
And I was like, it's about fucking time. It's actually too late.
Too late. Yeah.
I would have loved it if I could have been like, hey, buddy, buy the newest expansion and you just get all the old ones. It always comes with the oldest ones every time. Just they're done.
It would have been even better if when they were on Game Pass and I played all of them, that when they went off Game Pass, I still had access to the shit I've already played.
Dude, I know.
Oh.
Mine is it's interesting because it's cross progression, right? So it's like I'm playing on PC regularly, but I'd come here and play, and I couldn't use this subclass or this weapon, and I'm like, I get it. I didn't pay for it here, but it's actively being paid for on this other service. Like, it makes sense. I'm just like, it sucks that this has to be a business model.
Yes.
That it's not Fortnite where I bought the skin there, but it's bought. So they have my money.
Yep, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for maybe something in the future that's like a Destiny or Marathon or whatever, that maybe that's a more direction they go with it. I don't know.
I need to cut those hopes out. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
But I unfortunately still really love that game. And when I think about, let me hop in and shoot something, I think about a particular gun shooting a particular thing in Destiny is like the first that comes in my mind.
That's fair. I think of Halo.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, me and Alec, we were doing Halo on stream with punishments or challenges, really. Like you can see them all there. Turn upside down, is flip your controller upside down, one hand, all that different stuff. So a lot of hard things. Wow, yeah. But that was like the whole point, is to be hard. And then if we lost, we did push-ups and stuff. Like we made a little bit of fun of it. But then I was doing a bunch of different game types because I was like, we'll just play things. But at the end, I was like, instead of switching game types, let's just play. We played, what do they call it? Delta Arena, which is Halo Infinite, but with like Halo 2 multiplayer. So no sprint, no clamber, you jump higher.
Sure.
So I was like, fuck, this feels really good. And I'm like, I never thought it, but I was like, the next Halo should just not have, it should just pull back. Just get Halo 2 again.
No, dude, don't sabotage the company like that. That's not what is going to make a game succeed.
I think it will.
You're gonna buy no matter what they give you.
Well, yeah.
You're gonna slop it out the trough like the little fucking piggy you are.
Yeah, and I want everyone else to get down in this mud, dude.
Yeah. Well, no, you want the same old mud.
Yeah.
You want the old shit. You gotta pull in the fucking Gen Alpha, Gen Zers, dude. And they didn't have Halo 2. You're gonna be like, what is this old dumb shit? And your game's gonna die because of it, and you're gonna have no Halo. Whereas it could be a mode in the new Halo. It could be the no build of Fortnite, right?
Yeah, I just don't. I
Just
guess
accept your mode, take your grappling hook and your mantling and your sliding and your sprinting.
I mean, those are all fun.
Live with it, dude.
It's just like, but in my head,
I want a game that's just like the one from 2003.
well, here's the thing.
Fuck off.
Is obviously the other stuff didn't work, or it would have been more successful, right?
Infinite, you mean?
Yeah,
I don't know if going the other way is.
I'm just saying. Alchemist playing old games.
Where's your story expansion, dude?
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Where's all those customizables they promised us? You know
That would have been nice. But they gave me Delta Arena, and everyone's happy. I feel the same way, though. I want FPS like Resistance. FOM? What's that?
I didn't play Resistance. Freedom of Man?
Something like that in 2006. I just you can't. The problem is Fall of Man.
That was close.
You can't make
and
Halo all the other games.
And I want to walk into a fucking family video again. Okay? Take those feelings, ball them up, throw them in the fucking trash. They're gone. 2006 isn't here anymore.
I wish it was, though.
No, you don't.
It was so much
No,
better.
you fucking don't.
2006 was a great time. Great year.
Just reminds me of the meme of Paul Blart shredding to the Guitar Hero. And it's me playing Guitar Hero 3 during the financial crisis while my parents are falling apart financially. Just shredding.
I don't know. It's just, it was.
Yeah, it was all great when none of us had responsibilities and we could all just be kids and just play video games and skateboard and smoke cigarettes with our hood rat friends. But now look at us. Are we mad at our bills or are we mad at our video games? You know what I mean? Let's straighten up. It's got nothing to do with Fortnite. It's got nothing to do with Halo Infinite.
I'm a little mad at my video
Halo
game.
2's
Well,
not
I'm still
coming
mad
back.
at Halo for giving my Nerf gun skin out. So I am mad at my games. But I am going to get the max rank in Halo
The
Infinite.
times I'm looking back saying, oh man, I wish I had that today was a year ago. Not even from Destiny 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's there. I could still play.
You
It's
could.
not
It's still,
bad.
yeah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing it's always been.
Yeah, but when I was 12 playing video games, I didn't give a fuck if a company laid off hundreds of people before Christmas.
That's fair.
Now I'm like, I do care.
Oh, okay. But how do you take back your 2,000 hours? You can't, right? You're already in.
Well, they would have gotten more money if I would have played the last 6 months, dude.
That's
Halloween came around. I would have been like, oh, black hat skin, this broomstick meme, this whatever, that would have been in. Yeah. The Gundam thing I wanted to mention, though.
2K isn't so bad.
2K hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't think I quite hit 2K.
Oh, okay.
It's probably
mine's
like
tough.
1,800, though, so I don't know.
Mine's
Yeah.
tough because, Destiny 2 gave you stuff, which is all one game. Halo is split up in different games, so who knows what my hours are at if I click Halo,
sure. Yeah, well, mine's measured different, like consoles and whatever, but
Yeah,
I think the most time I have in any game is probably League.
that's fair.
Because I still hop in every once in a while for an ARAM. And those don't really tilt anyone anymore. I think everyone's finally realizing that you're not good at games.
Yeah.
You don't have to be competitive and everything. It's not about winning and losing this whole time. Like, finally. I saw a meme today that was from Rogue One with Ben Mendelsohn when he lands on the planet and sees Mads Mikkelsen. And Mads, I'm assuming, is like a farmer or something. And he's like, you're wasting your skills on farming, and they covered it up with you're wasting your skills on single player games. And he's there, and he's surrounded by Fortnite, CS:GO, whatever, all that stuff. And then it's Mads Mikkelsen. It's a simple life with Red Dead Redemption and God of War and whatever. And I was just like, God, it is so nice being a guy who's comfy playing a single player game. Like when Avowed comes out, I think me and one other guy are going to play it. It's just that I know personally,
Right.
Because it's offline single player. You don't need to. You can't play with anybody else. So I'm looking forward to that.
So we got a little time left. Do you want to get into your movies of the year?
I do, but I want to tell you what I got for Christmas.
Oh, go ahead.
I got one movie for Christmas.
Okay. Wow. Low.
Right?
They really let you down.
I
I'm
got
sorry.
the Friday the 13th collection for my birthday, which is,
Yeah, Christmas.
you can mix and match. They might have been like 10 Christmas gifts. Which one is he getting for his birthday? Hand him this one.
Yeah.
Although some people go the extra, oh, we put it in a birthday gift just to separate it. That's great. But I got all the Friday the 13th, which were
Very cool.
11 movies, right? So that's 11 in one. And then I got Possessor, the Brandon Cronenberg one. I got it in the second site, like with the essays and the lithographs and all that shit. So that's cool.
That is very cool.
It's on a Plex near you.
Doesn't work near me, but it's near
Yeah,
me.
that's your fault. But
Okay. We should see if it works here. Have you set it up here?
no.
Because
I don't watch
I'm just saying
movies
the
here.
internet's different here. We should just see if it's like an internet thing. If there literally is an
It could
issue
be.
with my thing.
It's also possibly just a hard disk thing. But
possible.
Colin can watch it, so I don't know why he can. Like, I don't know what is. I watched this on the Plex the other day. I want to be like, how the fuck did you do it? What's different? What
think-
are you doing that they aren't?
It would be so funny if you come to
works
find
at
out
my
he's
house, but-
watching it in like 480. Like he's just like, yeah, it looks fine. It's just a small TV across the room. He's like, yeah, that's good enough. I just watched it.
No, he's got the 4K
Okay.
TV. He got it because of the PS5.
Oh,
He's like, shit. All right, time to upgrade.
I need a new updated list on what movies you have and which ones you're looking for. Because I thought about getting you some movies and I went,
but what
I
do
don't
you-
have.
I know.
Yeah.
What do you get?
Yep.
I do have a list, but it would take you talking to Shay, who had the list, and then Shay saying, well, Colin got these ones, because I know he got me some movies. Her dad got me 4 that he just showed me a picture of. They're on their way. They're in customs, because they're also from Second Sight Import. So I got Dog Soldiers coming.
Okay.
You're Next coming. Martin, vampire movie. I don't remember the fourth
We'll
one.
post all of Christmas stuff. Update the list. Give me the list.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
I'm going to have to update it again as soon as I go to Muskegon, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's how it goes. But I think I might have guilted Derek into getting me a better gift, because we had to talk about Christmas on the way down to Galactic.
Okay.
We went down to Galactic to buy Gundams.
Yep.
I was like, you've got a week off, 2 weeks off. Let's just take a day and drive to Grand Rapids.
Is this your Christmas story or your Gundam story?
Both?
Okay, go on.
We're going down. We're talking Christmas, and he's like, "What's your budget for Christmas?" And I, $2,000. And he's like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "I'm joking. It's not actually $2,000." Like, when I put down every original gift idea I had, it came to $2,000. We ended up cutting people, because I'm like, this person has never gotten me a gift. I'm good to not spend $100 on them.
Yeah.
Instead of the Worst Possible Crew, we only got Secret Santa.
Santa, yep.
She got one gift for her whole table. But we just were like, if we don't know what the gift is, put $50 next to there, because we're just going to mentally budget. It got to $2,000, and that's when we're like, this can't exist. She also ex-nayed the gift I want to get Cody for $160.
Oh,
Can
how
you imagine?
dare she?
I was like, you don't love Cody? $160?
Wow. How much you spent on that stove that doesn't work?
Like $40.
Okay, fuck.
I know. It was,
That's fair.
It was
That makes sense.
really
Then.
cheap.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're in the wrong.
What do you- it was in Grand Rapids too.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I talked to Derek. I show him. He's like, "Well, how many people are you shopping for?" And I pull up. I have a spreadsheet, and I go 27.
Whoa.
And he's like, and I was like, "No, actually, because this just says Tie Tuesday."
So it's actually
And
5
so
people.
it's, yeah, I was like, actually, there's more, but
my
then
God.
you're in it, so I subtracted and whatever. He's like,
Holy
"Dude,
crap.
what the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, what's wrong with
So
you?
yeah, and then we talked about how he's like, "I have a bad association with Christmas, so I don't do gifts because blah blah blah." And I was like, "Well, what do you spend on Christmas?" He's like, "Dude, I don't know, like maybe $300."
Yeah.
And I was like, I just laughed. I was like, "Derek, the gift I bought you, not the family, the one I bought you is $280." And he's like, "God damn it, man." Like, he's like, "I don't know." And then he went on a Christmas tangent. But that wasn't me saying I spent a whole lot on you.
Right.
That wasn't it. It was more just like, this is the gift. And I was like, I had more ideas for you. I just gave them to my mom. So things that you get from her that are like very specific to one anime you love, you know it wasn't from her. It was from me. So I think he had bought me Chainsaw Man, because that's what I got for my birthday, the Chainsaw Man manga,
Yeah, yeah.
which I'm on, what do you call them? Trades? Issues? What's a book? I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
Volume.
Volume.
We'll say
thank you.
volume.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to say it.
Okay.
I'm on volume 2, which is still part of the TV show.
I think it should be volume. Well, I don't know. It
cares?
would, yeah.
I don't really care.
It breaks down weird, but yeah.
I'll just keep reading it. That's what he gave me for my birthday. But then after spending time at Galactic and whatever, I was showing him all this stuff. He got me the most expensive Gundam model that exists.
Period?
Period. Well,
Did it go with my light kit that I returned?
more expensive than that.
Damn. Okay.
But also, It was one that, because I was explaining a lot to him, because I've, just done a small deep dive,
Yeah. Small deep dive.
a very quick laser focused deep dive, not as wide. I'm not all encompassing.
But also,
But just explaining grades, that was like mostly, because that's how they sorted them there.
but also to be clear, your deep dives, simple deep dives, are usually deeper and more expansive than most people deep dives.
Maybe.
I would say so.
Maybe.
You started playing Magic, we opened a store. Your deep dives
That
go
was
pretty
your
hard.
fucking idea.
Well, it was my board game store.
It's
was
still,
the idea.
but now we're on YouTube about it, right? We're
Yeah.
meeting people. Maybe. But anyway, I was explaining it, and there's a soft explanation for you. Commonly, there's high grade, master grade, perfect grade. There's a lot of little grades in between, that
Right.
whatever. But high grade, or I guess entry grades below that. You don't need tools. You can like pull them off with your fingers off the sprue and build it. But high grade, you need snips. That's it. They build to be 1/144th scale. They're like $15 to $30. They're super cheap. The next one, master grade, is you typically build a skeleton and then you build pieces around it, and it's like more layered. It's 1/100th scale, so it's a little bit bigger. Takes longer, whatever. You still only ever need snips. Some people start filing at that point. They start panel lining or using Sharpies and stuff to like highlight things. And then you've got perfect grade, which there's only like 7 kits for that are like major characters in all of Gundam. Well, they just recently made one called the Perfect Grade Unleashed, which is the original RX-78-2, the OG Gundam from 79, that has, I think, 5 skeletons that build on top of each other.
Is that the one when everyone goes Gundam? That's the one everyone sees.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
What's his face turned into Ready Player One
Yeah.
with the sword.
Dude,
So cool.
What's crazy is I haven't rewatched that since, dude. I might be like, I might feel it harder now, being like, I get it now, And I looking at details and like, what which levels of sticker placement do you have? Because new animations of the old stuff has different stickers on different
Yeah.
spots. Anyway, but it was the very top left, product, which is like, there's only one Perfect Grade Unleashed that exists. Like, you pull things off this plastic and it's already articulating off the plastic.
Okay.
Like, it shit's weird technology that they're like, this is new tech we're throwing into a Gundam for the first time. And I was telling him while down there, I'm like, I need to do 30 more Gundams before I even consider building that, because that's the one that I might want to sand and file and like actually get things right. I would consider like airbrushing certain things because it's so much. People sell that kit for like $1,200.
Yeah. Okay.
But $1,200 painted, finished, built,
Yeah.
whatever, like custom made. The kit I think was like $250.
Now, don't you usually
maybe
not
300?
paint Gundams? Wasn't that
You
one of
d-
your things?
You don't have to paint any of them.
Oh, you don't have to.
They don't make one that
But
is
some people
paintable.
do.
They
to
just
add
sand
things.
off the white to paint the white, because then you can add a small highlight of this and a small shading of that. And
Gotcha.
It also adds a matte
You
finish
sometimes
or a
burn it so it
gloss
looks
or-
like a shot hit it.
People
or
do
whatever.
use wood burners to like make a line of like a laser blast.
Which is
into
really
it.
cool.
Not for me.
An artistry that
I'm looking for
not interested in.
Lego. I'm
Exactly,
looking
yeah.
for a set of instructions I can complete, and at the end, here's my robot.
And it looks fucking cool.
It does. They look fucking cool. I've built 3 already.
Very nice.
Well, I've technically built more, but they weren't. I don't keep them.
Right.
They were Justin's. Or
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
helping Derek with something, But my new plan, I think I mentioned it, was I'm buying 1 Gundam from every show
okay.
that I'm watching. I'm like, I finished the series. Great. I'll own a Gundam from that. Eventually, I'm sure I'll loop back around and maybe get a couple enemy Gundams or
Right.
something.
Well,
if there's,
'cause you
if
get
there's
one-
one I think of,
Well,
I'm
he's
like,
got to
I
have a
love this.
friend.
He's
So we
gotta-
got to get a friend
exactly.
with him. Well,
Well,
but
now
if
I've
they
got-
don't like each other, we got to get a third.
So here was let me tell you what I did.
Okay,
At
girl
this point,
method.
I'd finished 3 series. Not Origin, because there's actually no Gundams in that.
Doesn't count.
That you can't buy.
So
a
you
Gundam
technically
from
can get one.
You can
for
get
a
the
different
villain one, I guess,
There you go.
but I didn't.
Okay.
They were movies anyway, not series. Right?
Oh, see.
The original,
Uh-huh.
the RX-78-2, the Grandpa, the OG, the Gundam everyone visualizes.
Yep.
The white, the blue, the yellow, the wing.
Yep.
8th MS team, finished it. Gundams that can't fly, and then War in the Pocket. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I go down. I'm looking at the different Gundams for those 2 shows because I finished each in a day. I look at the different Gundams and I'm like, these are really cool. I could order them, but there's a store not far from here. Derek's got the time off. Let's go down. I'll buy them there. Support a local-ish business and whatever.
Yeah.
And go down, get each one of them, and I'm like, oh, damn, this is less than like $70.
My budget was.
I drove to Grand Rapids,
Yeah.
right? Like I got stuff to. So I ended up getting the they made a like director's cut set of boxes.
Ooh.
There's a guy, they're called Ver-Ka, which is like version, whatever, Kazuki. I don't remember his last name.
Okay.
But he went through and started taking like popular Gundams from shows and just re-engineering them. So they're considering it like a remastered and like a director's cut. High grade, the low one I talked about, was my first Gundam. As I told you, they go up in scale. The perfect grade Unleashed being 1/72 size, so twice the size of the 1/44.
Gotcha.
I've bought all Gundams in 1/100th now because it's master grade. It's not perfect. Every Gundam has a master grade in almost every capacity. I like the scale. It's like one step of difficulty where I don't finish it in one sitting, so it like lasts me a little bit longer. And I was like, well, this first one's high grade, and he's the OG, right?
Right.
I gotta get a master grade.
You got to get, yeah, that makes sense.
And if I'm gonna get a master grade, let's get the director's cut.
Uh-huh.
$35. And I'm like, what is this hobby? This is bullshit. Like, what's Kel, Red Zone Rogue, talking to us like, oh, Gunpla is pretty expensive. Fucking weak shit, dude. No way. I'm like, let me get an extra pair of snips, $10. And it comes with files and tweezers.
Not bad.
That's a pack of sleeves.
That's true.
$10. No deck I have is less than $10. It'd be impossible.
Yeah. Even on a Pokemon cheap scale, it's cheap.
But then, so then Derek gets me the most, like Justin, who built, he's got a backlog of 40. He's like, I will probably never own a perfect grade Unleashed because I'll never be ready to do it. I told Derek, I was like, Derek, if I were just getting into Magic this year, you just bought me a Black Lotus. Like, this is crazy. You know that, right? Like, you just gave me all dual lands when I'm playing casual still. So there's something strange about owning it, but it's a really pretty box on my shelf right now. And the box is like, a normal Gundam box is maybe this.
Well, I like
and
it.
It's just a monster.
I think it's nice because you got it there and it's almost like there's the goal. And maybe it's like, here are the shelves below it. Once these shelves are filled, I can open that.
Well, in Master Grade, here's the other thing they do that's a little different. You obviously, you can just build it.
Yep.
I eventually want to get to panel lining because it's not painting or using a Sharpie as much. It's like an oil, like a what do they call it? Null oil.
Null oil,
remember? But with the way the cracks and crevices work, I watched someone recently who does Warhammer for a living try Gundam for the first time, and they're like, my eyes are open. A Gundam that is this big and articulates and is a robot, it's $25. A mini like this is $60, you know?
So crazy.
And you have to glue it, and you have to paint it, and you have to whatever. So I've seen a lot of comparisons. But the biggest thing is she was like, this is a miracle of technology, and it's just a little bottle of panel liner is what it's called. And it's a dripper that you drip into an edge, and it like sprawls through the cracks.
Yeah.
And you just dab it where you want. And she's like, this is a miracle. And once it dries, you just take it, like wipes off with acetone. So you get a Q-tip with acetone or alcohol or whatever, and you just smudge the top line of it. Like you can go over the line and it'll stay in the line. So it's just polishing essentially. So that was my third step. Second step is decals that are stickers, but they're not just a sticker. It is a wet transfer sticker. So you have to get the whole sticker wet. You have to like cut it out, get it wet, and then lay it on wet and let it dry. So I have these.
It's in there with a hairdryer?
I have these 3 master grades in my house at this point. I'm like, I'm just gonna build the one, just to build it and have a master grade built. The second one, I'm gonna do wet transfer stickers. The third one, I'm gonna do the stickers. Then I'm gonna panel line it. Like I'm like leveling up how I go. And Derek goes, here, take this perfect grade Unleashed. And I'm like, I'm also feeling the will I ever be ready for that box?
Is there?
But what a crazy cool gift.
Is there like a Gundam that's like a duo Gundam where there's like two, where it's like two Gundams that always fight together?
I have not seen that. There are Gundams that like enter different modes, kind of like a Transformer, but not that in depth, you know, where they like pull apart and there's a ship in the middle. This one has that. It's got pilots that you put inside, and it's you build the ship, and the ship is the cockpit, and you can like fucking lock it all together. But nothing that's like an actual two separate units that I saw.
Well, if one comes up where there's two separate units, I want to get them for you. I build one, you build one, then you keep them both so they go on your shelf. But then we do like a duo unit.
Well, we could just. I told you they're $15. We could just do that with.
But I think it'd be cool if these two are together.
They have their own movie that is just about them fighting.
Oh,
let's
then
just do that.
That could be cool.
It's one of the what's really cool is it's one of the perfect grades. That's like the villain thing is the OG villain has the only red enemy mobile suit in the whole show. So you could build the red one, and it's like everyone would know what that one is, and then I build the OG again.
Perfect. We'll get on it.
We could do something like that.
We'll do that, and then we'll also watch that movie.
But dude, I finished War in the Pocket.
Yep.
I go, I want to keep watching something. I was drinking one of those buzzins, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I was feeling nice. I go into The Witch from Mercury because I don't have Thunderbolt. I know. I get it. It's okay. I didn't tell you which one.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said I needed to get them, but I was like, I didn't know which one.
I said I need the next Gundam, and you didn't know.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm an anime fan.
For 2 series. So I was like, let me do one of the alternate timeline ones that is by itself. Like there isn't a series of this timeline. It's the one.
Yep.
It also came out in 2022. Let me watch something new.
Yeah.
I watched the prologue, and it is so sad. And it had a dad singing happy birthday to his kid as he fucking suicides himself to like save them. And I was like, I didn't want this right now. Like I was like, yes. And I'm high, and I'm like, oh, Shay's down playing House Flipper, and I'm like, God, this shit's a lot. But I started episode 1 today, and episode 2. That's why it was up on the TV. Dude, it's so good. It's got more anime cheese. I think that's because we're in 2022 now. I'm like, I recognize this cheese. But it essentially has the female OG Gundam as the main character.
Oh, that's dope.
And I'm like, fuck, that's clean. Like they translate, it's just, in the video game switching body type.
Yeah.
Just watching them get thinner and whatever. I'm like, dude, this might be my favorite Gundam. Just by visual alone. I'm like, God, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
You'd also like this one because it's one where Gundams are illegal, like universe wide.
Oh, okay.
Because they run on a technology that kills their pilots.
Oh, shit.
And like you can see like technology like enter their skin and like go through their face. That's how the dad actually ends up killing himself. It's by driving a Gundam a little too hard.
Just a little too much.
Just a little too much. And then they explode.
You know what I want? Actually, what I think would be really cool? Give me a Gunpla, but it's Pacific Rim. Let me get all the Jaegers.
So there is a... God, it's so silly, dude. There is a Gundam show, Gundam Wing, I think. Or Seed. I forget because I haven't seen them yet. But they're the old Toonami ones.
Yeah.
Where when you're the pilot inside, you're open and fighting.
Yeah, with the black suits. Yeah, that's the one I watched when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget. I think that's actually Seed. I think I lied about Wing.
It's something like
Whatever
that.
it is, all the same though. That's one where it's like there's a fucking Mortal Kombat-esque tournament where a nation, there's a U.S. Gundam that fights American style. There's the Japanese one who's the main character, of course. But then you've got the Mexican Gundam who the robot has a fucking sombrero on their head. They're remaking that model. That's like their newest announcement is they're making the Mexican Gundam.
Awesome.
I'm like, dude, stop. But those are the ones where the Gundams fight different because the people inside are fighting different. So you could get one of those and try.
That'd be cool.
But they make that like the little Gengar one that they sold at GT.
Yeah.
Bandai makes that. So it's a Gunpla. In a technical kind of way it is.
Yeah.
But they also make food. They make other characters. Derek bought War Greymon from Digimon.
Oh, nice.
And it sits, like this tall.
They got to have Megazords.
They did not. Dude.
Oh.
Trust me. Derek was the one who said it. He's like, where are the Power Rangers, bro? I said, shut the fuck. Like, I've thought about this too much. You saying it out loud hurts me. Like,
so sad.
It seems so obvious, but they don't have the rights, right? So
I guess
it's like,
so.
how are you going to...
Man. To be fair, though, that's a hole I would fall down real fast. So,
I mean, I'm falling down this hole with something I had no fucking ties to.
Yeah.
Technically watched it at Toonami at my grandma's house, caught 5 episodes of my life.
Right.
I watched a lot of Power Rangers.
Dude, just to have all, like, the different generations have, like, each individual Zord, then the Megazord, and then, like, the auxiliary Zord.
That's the thing is, like, I luckily, I don't think I would be able to go the way I'm doing Gundam, like, trying to cover almost everything. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could do that with the Rangers. There's just too many.
There is? Well,
and it's...
Yeah.
Because it's targeted for kids and stuff, there's just something lacking there, where, again, this one is, like, I'm calling it Dune. It's like Game of Thrones in space kind of thing, where I'm like, wow, that you just killed 1 billion people. They don't kill 1 billion people in Power Rangers, so I don't know if I could watch all of it. But the perfect Great Unleashed Megazord comes out, dude, I'm buying 2. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm buying one to fuck up and then one to like try airbrushing on, and I'm buying another one. That's the thing where it's like I'd be so tied to one. I wouldn't need any more.
Yeah.
Just that same Gundam, the RX-782, the OG, you can buy it 30 different ways.
Yeah.
There's actually one I looked at too called high grade, perfect grade. There's one called mega grade, which is just its size. That's it.
Oh,
it has
okay.
nothing to do with the build or whatever, but it builds to be taller. I was hoping it'd be 3 feet. I would have bought it. It was like $80. I was like, I would pay for this.
Yeah.
But I saw the box. I'm like, there's no way it can be that big. And it turns out it just sits like that. Mm-hmm. But
Still a good
I'm
size,
like,
but not what you're looking
The perfect
for.
grade fits that same size, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't mind.
It's
But
funny
I'm
'cause
like, I want a 4-foot Gundam now.
You have like the one Megazord, and you're like, I would go hard, but I'm like, well, then the OG Megazord, you had the Megazord, but then you have it where they added in the Dragon Zord to that Megazord, or you have the one where it's like that one Megazord
Well,
technically
and
has like 4 or 5 iterations.
Each
so.
I'm gonna have each individual Zord next to it.
Yeah.
You know, it makes sense. But those are that. I don't think it'll ever happen.
Okay.
I'm gonna lock you in on it will never happen. And if it ever does, you know what we're doing that weekend.
Yeah,
But
exactly. All right. Very cool. Well, I'm glad it's still working. I'm still glad you're into it and that you didn't just go, yeah, I really like the first ones, but now I'm falling off. That's great.
yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
I saw recently somebody did a 3D print of like a Blastoise that was like this tall. Of like it was a big old honking dude. And I was like,
Fuck me.
that's so fucking cool.
That's
what am I going to
what
do with it? I don't
printer
know.
do they-
Well, I'm sure they printed it in pieces and then put it all together. You know, you build.
Yeah.
And I don't,
slot each spike in.
yeah, I think it's like usually they do like the slot and you do the glue with the magnets, so they all magnets together.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's still really cool.
No, that is really cool. Yeah.
I don't know what I would do with something like that, but I'd have a 3-foot tall Squirtle. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I it's funny because I'm already seeing the future of where am I going to put all these Gundams, and also what does critical mass look like, and how do you get rid of one? You know.
Which one do you get rid of? Or yeah,
So I've got the little OG. I'm going to be replacing him with the big one. I'm like, I can't get rid of this little OG gun. He'll probably just come and sit on a desk or something.
Yeah.
Here, you know. But I'm like, eventually I can't have spots here either. Am I just tossing them? Am I giving them to like some kid somewhere? Like here, it's a action figure that can break, so be careful.
yeah,
I don't know what to do. So.
yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. But anyway, look, I think we've hit our 2 hours. We've done our talking. We didn't go through our movies of the year, but there's still today. So next time we'll go through movies of last year. That makes sense. That's way better.
Perfect.
So thanks everyone for hanging out. Really appreciate Alchemist you hopping in the chat and all that. Anyone lurking out there, thank you so much. Like I said, we'll be back streaming on Thursday. I'll be doing Deadly Premonition. Very excited. Stokes, did you have anything else?
Last stream of the year.
Then we're going to sign off as we always do with a Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see you for breakfast.